No, wait, we're not. Okay,
And we are now. We are live, I believe.
Yeah, we're live now, guys.
All right, cool. I am your friendly neighborhood ninja. This is the follow-up party to Piper's live stream. And with me, I've got, as always, my honored guests. Well, not always. Sorry, guys. It's not always, but I've got honored guests one way or the other. Sometimes they're honored. They get in here whenever they can. I've got Doc, Muir, and Smacky McCracken. So what? How you guys feeling this evening?
Not too
great,
bad.
brother.
Hey,
I'm just
doing good.
Having a little rum tonight. Enjoying my Sunday.
A little.
Got myself
a lot. It's a fucking lot. It's so much fun.
Perfect timing. I got myself some natural ice.
Yeah, natty,
delicious.
Brother. You know what? I was gonna buy some of that tonight, dude, but I settled on the rum instead.
Well, you know, beer is good, but liquor is quicker.
Hey. Beer before liquor, never been sicker. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear.
I got a train coming, so Doc, take the lead.
All right. So we're doing this thing tonight. We're just hanging out, having a good time. You know, folks are drawing, and Norman's fucking knocking it out of the fucking park tonight.
You do me too much credit.
No, sir, I do not. Look at that. That is brilliant work right there. If you can see it on the screen.
The lighting is just beautiful.
Yeah, right. It's gorgeous work. And, of course, we got Munir here with us. And he's doing some great work over there, too.
Gruesome.
And you know what? I just love, you know, the fact that these guys are not just talented, but willing to share their talent and their perspectives and shit with me, you know? And so it's great to be amongst you guys. And whenever I get the opportunity, I love to hang out with you.
Yeah. Hey, you know what they say, man? When you give away knowledge, it will only grow.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I love the way you said that. When you give away knowledge, it will only grow.
Dude, sometimes the way he talks is lyrical, for sure.
Well, but I am Asian, so
yeah. and no, we did determine earlier that Munir is not able to say the N-word and get away with it.
No, I am not.
We're not going to go there on my channel. My kids might watch at some point.
Oh, okay.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Ninja, you doing that thing?
Sorry, I'm back.
You doing that thing with Ted and your guy?
Yeah. At the moment. I'm going to keep working on that. If this is going to be a draw stream, what should we be? What should be the menacing, villainous creature or creatures that they're up against?
Wanpool.
Wanpool.
Right. No, look, he's a huge central character, right? You put him behind us, so we're not paying attention, and he's just looming large over us. That's a really good fucking visual, dude.
Did you say lubing large or
Well, you know, probably.
Because either way, we're fucked.
Yeah. Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Bad news, everyone.
Bad news, everyone.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll put Wanpool in there. I'll put another layer and I'll put Wanpool in.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because our guys, I mean, this is total Double Dragon, right? Or
is he?
It's bad.
Is he bad dudes? It is bad dudes. It's not Double Dragon. It's definitely bad dudes was the shit, dude.
Yeah,
except for the timer. I hate when I ran out of time on bad dudes.
Yeah.
That was the only difference between Double Dragons.
Did you play the Nintendo game a lot?
I had it for Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
That was my go-to games: is Double Dragon and Bad Dudes.
Yeah, buddy.
And also, I'm drawing on my tablet, so this might not look as
Who
good.
cares? Just draw with your heart.
Dude, just let the
draw with my hat,
fun
yeah.
go.
I wonder if anybody will jump in here and surprise us because I'm not looking at any of the chats or anything.
Oh,
like that.
shit. Hey.
I should probably turn on something that has
What's
a
your
chat
fucking
monitor.
ninja? Your ninja. What's your ninja subscription thing on YouTube? God, I'm drunk.
The same as everything else. Your friendly
Yeah,
neighborhood ninja.
right. Why am I not?
I I actually came up with that channel quite a while ago, but I never produced any content because, well, when you sign up for YouTube, it instantly makes yourself a channel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this will be my YouTube channel.
But brother, you got 71 subscribers. You doing?
Oh, I didn't expect that at this point in time.
I'm proud of you, dude.
Well, thanks, guys. According
Thanks,
to my
guys.
thing,
that was just one guy.
Well, thank you everybody for who joins in
and hanging out with you and having a good time. And
I don't know that I've got anybody watching this though at the moment. Let's see.
Doesn't matter,
I
man.
don't think
It's
so.
more just for the
No,
hang.
it's it. Yeah, really.
You got one viewer, and that's me.
Nice.
Well, for one thing, you're not advertising it, are you, on social media?
Not at all. No, I didn't advertise this one.
You got to post it on the Twitter, otherwise, how are people going to know?
Right.
Oh,
You
should I do that?
You know what? You
I go
should.
post it?
Yeah.
And
I
dude,
think you should.
Dude,
No, I think I'm going to
get
share
in
it
the
on
habit
my
of that.
Facebook.
We're
Get
gonna
in the
go
habit of
tweet
that.
it right
Because
now.
when sport
Yeah.
comes back, brother, you're going to want to pound
hell
that,
yeah.
that fucking, yeah. You're going to want to pound the pavement, dude. So get used to it, you know?
I guess you're
people know-
right because we can always show for Spork Man.
Mhm.
Well,
Right here.
not just that, but, you want people to know we're doing our thing. You want to get people used to this. And I say that as somebody who, when I had my own channel, or never did anything ever to promote it. So I'm giving you all this advice just because I love you guys and I want Sportman to succeed. And I want you to get in the habit of promotion, brother. Don't be scared of it. Don't be worried by it. If anybody gives you shit for it, they're assholes.
Well, yeah. Where do you think shit comes from? Yo.
It comes from the vagina. That's what I've been told.
Does that mean pee is stored in the balls?
It is. Don't you know that's how you get women pregnant?
Oh, I'm learning so much.
You pee in their butts, right?
This is getting weird.
Maybe I shouldn't advertise this one.
All right. I can't say
I'm still
we're going to
gonna do
curb that, but
No, we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back to family friendly entertainment. No, I'm joking. It won't be. Hey,
Yeah, family friendly.
Since Ethan has decided to leave Comicsgate, does that leave a power vacuum for me to take over?
Nerd Wonder has already got a lead on you.
Yeah,
Darn it! She has more subscribers than me. Darn. Oh well.
But
Nerd Wonder's
Nerd Wonder
okay.
the one who came up with Comicsgate?
So she claims.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
Bum, 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 bum.
Don't worry. Yeah, it's gonna be good. We're gonna make comics great again, one way or the other. Comicsgate or not, I do believe one way or the other, comics are gonna survive.
Of course they will.
And this whole thing, they might be like, "Oh, Comicsgate is dead." This, that, or the other thing. No, it's not. It's started a new fire within the public. So,
Sure.
Well, if anything else, it's just kind of like one thing that I'm looking at and trying to positive is that it's not putting a target on our backs really so much anymore. per se.
Well, yeah, but now see, I think there's still some value in the tag in the sense that, like I said earlier on Twitter, it acts as a bonfire for all of us to gather around and talk about shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. But as far as
That's true.
being an emblem or anything like that, that's taking it too far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, Comicsgate was never supposed to be a brand. It was supposed to be a consumer movement.
Right.
You know, it's all about putting the consumer first and respecting people, including professionals, for their own personal views instead of alienating, trying to get people fired and all that shit.
Right. Right. So all this infighting and stuff it is the result when personality and stuff becomes kind of paramount in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, I mean, as much as I love Ethan and Zach and all those guys, like I wish them the utmost of success.
Mhm.
I
That's
think
right. Yes.
I think in the case of Ethan in particular, him stepping back and doing his own thing again and just focusing on creating and
Such
stuff,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good for all of us
Mhm.
because we can get back to focusing on what's important, which is promoting the community and the independent artist. Just waiting to be found in there, and you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah.
If we love comics, we want to build something, and this is a great opportunity for us to build something.
Mhm.
And there
Oh,
are so
yeah.
many people out there building. So
Doc and I feel like in my heart I can share this as Doc and I is that we're a little jealous of you guys that already have at least a web comic, especially on Tapas, because that's actually a really good platform as far as I'm concerned.
It doesn't pay.
So I'm somewhat like it probably doesn't pay any bills at all, but
No.
it's still something that's like a bucket list type of deal. Like, hey, yeah, I got my comic. I got a comic. And in my own personal, aspirations, I'm like, damn, I don't have that quite yet. I mean, essentially, I got a job with Sportman, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I know that's going to happen, but like one of these, like, you guys still give me the inspiration that, and I guess it's weird, especially because you guys are all younger than me, except for Doc. Doc and I are both older than you guys,
right? But at the same time,
no, go ahead.
all I was going to say is at the same time, man, these guys, man, despite their talent and shit, and in fact, because of it, they give us some of the best advice and the best support. They've got our backs. They love us. They want us to succeed. And that is such a huge thing, Like, you're meeting these guys who, any one of them, if given the right chance, could be fucking a superstar. And yet they're all grounded. They're good people. Yeah, it's and that's what I love about this community, brother. Like, it's not that we need a chance, but if we did, these guys would step up and give it to us.
I mean, because to me, it's like comic really is for everyone, and everyone
deserves
a chance to try to and put their stuff out there, and also because I think because I had personal experiences when I first started drawing, where someone came up, look at what I did, and straight up tell me straight to my face, "You have no future in this."
Wow.
I am not joking. This is something that actually happened to me. Straight, and we're not talking on Twitter or social media, like straight up in real life to my face.
Right.
He said, "You have no future in this." And I was like, "Oh, I have no future? F you! I'm going to work till I have a future in this."
And you showed him.
Yeah, showed him.
No, your art's great. And that's what's important to me, brother. Like, I don't know. I just love you guys too much to be objective.
I want to give shout outs. We just got a viewer,
Nice.
Blind Savage 93, also
Hey.
known as Blind Artist 93 on Twitter.
Hey, brother.
Go follow him.
Hey.
Creator of Image. Yes, that's Imagine. I'm sorry. Imagine the creator and amazing artist of Imagine. It's going to be quite good. And one might say it might even be wicked. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Yes. But I have much love for that guy. He's got some amazing talent.
Oh, his work's awesome.
But go ahead now. Sorry.
No.
Well, one to I kind of lost my train of thought after that one. I just got kind of caught up for a second. Go ahead, Doc. What were you saying now?
Oh no, I'm just I'm looking at this guy's art and it speaks to me. I love. Okay, yeah. I don't think I'm saying anything.
Oh, sorry. That's probably my bad as
all I was going to say
drunken
is
host.
that I'm too I'm too close to you guys to be objective, but at the same time, you guys are some talented sons of bitches, and I love you all.
Duh.
Dog.
Oh, snap.
We love you too, dog.
I
Of
know.
course.
It's true.
We love you, Dad.
I appreciate it, and I love you guys too. You know.
And also,
He
speaking
wants
of
to talk.
who wants to? Oh, and also Ninja, you were talking about how we're doing this webcomic, right? I mean, the way I see it, you guys should just do it, man. Just give it a try. I mean, the cool thing about webcomics is that it doesn't cost you anything to put it out there, because you don't need to print it out, you don't need to rent space, and you don't need to pay for postage or anything. You just have to come up with something and just put it out there. Just take a chance. So who knows?
So and it's kind of like my drawings. If I just go all out and do the thing instead of worrying about it, like I'm going to come away with something valuable. And I think that goes for venturing into webcomics, man. Like ultimately, we can't win if we don't play.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So
you just have to try it, man.
Right. And if it doesn't go anywhere, well, we tried.
No dead air. Sorry, I can't handle dead air. I'm screen sharing some cool stuff that I found on Twitter right now from Imagine.
Nice.
And also sharing the train that's going by.
I
just
heard
like
it's
Edwin Boyette shares the ambulances that he lives next to. So maybe I shouldn't feel so bad when Edwin Boyette decided to move next to a hospital. And every one of his videos I've seen since then has got ambulance sounds in the background. It's like sirens going off every 10 minutes. So I don't feel so bad anymore.
And then you kind of sit there and listen and wonder who died.
Oh God!
It's like, oh shit, this just got negative.
I brought the good vibes down. But
no. Shout out to the train, says Blind. No, dude, that guy, this comic is going to be fun. I tell you what, from what I understand, right? It's about a little girl who wakes up and she's lost her memory. And the world has become nothing but chaos. And there are giant monsters about, right? And the only thing that's there to protect her is her robot companion, who is named Buttons. Right? And he protects her throughout. And this is the cool thing about Buttons. Like, he's made out of nanobots and such. And he can grow and create his own weapons. And there's something kind of cool about that. Dang, dude, that's actually a pretty badass idea. Hang on, let me bring some of this up. like he's pretty good. Like there's a crazy monster that's going to be all up in there. Hang on, let me share this one. Dupe. We got this crazy monster.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, I love
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like,
it, dude. I love it.
and then there's this one, and as you can see, there's a scale for size for a vehicle, and its tentacle thing, like its tentacle snout.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a pretty huge monster, and if I'm not mistaken, they're called kaiju in some cultures.
Yeah.
And then we got
Japanese.
another one.
The Japanese call it kaiju. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And here we got another one, very apish, gross, kind of crab hands, hammer tail. Like I don't want to have to fight this monster, but at the same time, I do want to kind of fight this monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's kind of cool.
yeah, like yeah, he's pretty cool, man. Like I'm kind of like excited about this, and if I get my shit together, I'll have a cover done for him soon.
Nice.
Should have
I
a cover
like,
done
I
for
like
him
the
soon.
detail on that
Here's some art.
monkey monster.
When I was a kid, I had the dumbest idea for a
I'm
comic.
waiting for.
Oh man.
So, yeah, I've been. Okay, this is not. Oh, here we go. Kind of.
Nice.
I'm thinking a duality.
Yeah.
Kind of clown thing going on.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, no
That's
problem.
a gorgeous use of negatives.
Oh, I think I shared this one before. The Thor picture he did, which actually darn good.
Yeah, I like it.
It's inspired by the
Yeah.
Avengers animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
that one's pretty spot on for the Avengers series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a fan art is good when you can tell right away where it's from.
Yep.
You look at it and you can go like, I know that is from this. You know.
Yep.
Here's a very artistic piece that he did of the sun shining whilst the rain is pouring down. You know, a very it's very, you know, it gets to my heart to some degree.
Yeah.
By looking at this piece right here. So that's this one's pretty good, I have to say. Like he's gonna have a gallery someday, and then there you go, like another one. Just
like that.
You know, one of the things got to watch out for in life. Never want to have that grim outlook, but at the same time, it's part of life.
Yeah.
So I have to say, major shout outs to Blind Artist 93 on Twitter. You can go follow him and get pumped for Imagine, because it's going to be an excellent comic.
Nice. Very cool.
Also,
what? No, I'm sorry. When is he planning on publishing the Imagine?
Truth be told, I'm not 100% sure. There is, potentially he may have a, I don't know if it's going to be Indiegogo. Hey, Blind, are you still watching? If you are, let me know what you're planning on doing so that I can send it along to the rest of the group here. Mm-hmm. It's possible that he might have a publisher, but it might be also Indiegogo. I'm not sure yet, but one way or the other. That's going to be a fun comic.
Normal.
What's that?
Hmm? No, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, in addition to considering that one, I wanted to check in on how Little Girl Lethal was doing. Because last time I checked, they were only about $400 away from full funding. And I've had Slick Jimmy on the channel a couple of times. And I have to say, I'm real excited about potentially getting my copy of Little Girl Lethal.
We are 3% away from them being fully funded. 9699.
3%, nice.
And still 18 days left to go.
Yeah. How much did you say?
9699.
Yeah. 3% left
Yeah.
being fully funded.
That's freaking amazing. So yeah, that's pretty exciting to know.
I haven't backed it.
Also,
I haven't backed it.
What's that?
No, I was just gonna say I haven't backed it yet, but I'll be getting the immodest version myself for scientific purposes.
Ooh.
Oh, Doc, you want to say anything before you go?
Just that I fucking love you guys, and thank you for having me on these shows. I always love spending time with you guys. Like whenever I get the chance, and whenever I'm awake, and whenever I'm connected to the rest of the world. I can't think of any better use of my time than hanging out with you guys. So
Yes, same here, man. Good hanging out with you.
yeah,
you're like a bro, man.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
This is a little comics family over here. You know, little comics family we got going on. And Doc, I love you.
Love you too, bro. Hey, Josh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys have a good night, and I hope to catch you tomorrow. So,
All right, bro.
All right.
Good night.
Man.
How do I do this thing? Good night. Oh, here we go.
You boomer.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm gonna dip out too. I finished the Voltron piece, and I'm a little tired. So.
Really? All right.
You're gonna. Can you share it with us real quick before we dip out?
Sure. I had it up there for a little while, but I will. I also posted it to Twitter too. So there we go.
And see, you did that in a little. And how long do you think that took you right there? That piece.
That was about 3 hours, 4 hours worth of work.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there, man.
Yeah, but it's a piece with a single subject. It takes
beautiful, like, what's that?
No, I was just gonna say it takes me a lot longer to do like up a whole comic page. This is just a single little art piece with no background, so it's not that hard.
Still, man. And your drawing takes time.
In 3 hours you got 3 hours you got how much done, and especially the coloring and lighting effect. That's not necessarily that easy. So that shows that you got that speed with it. So don't get down on yourself, because don't forget, we're our own harshest critics.
That is true.
That is true, yeah. And I love the rendering on it too. The lighting effect is just beautiful, man.
Well, yeah. So going on top of what I said, like before, I added the special effect, which was a separate layer that was the glow. So I added a very bright yellow on the sides to kind of give it that edge of light feel. And of course, I added the blue glow on the chest and the headpiece and the eyes of the lions, etc. So it's once you know what to do, it kind of pops. It's like that singularity that just kind of puts you to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So, alrighty then. I'm a dip out now. So it was great chatting with y'all.
Right, man.
So, peace.
Hey, want to plug Chicken Warrior? Oh, never mind. I'll plug Chicken Warrior. He just dipped out on us. Go watch. Go check out Chicken Warrior on tapas.com.
Yeah.
Pretty fun comic, actually. And how long we've been going here. Um,
I'm not sure how long have we been on.
not very long, but you want to keep going?
Yeah, sure, man. I'm up for it. I mean, it's only 2:36 p.m. here in Malaysia. What about you, man? I mean, it's like,
It's 1:37 in the AM over here in the Americas.
yeah,
But I don't feel necessarily all that sleepy. So we can kind of just chill and goof off if you want.
let's just chill. I'm never gonna draw because if I start drawing, then I'll get too focused on the drawing. I get all quiet, and then we'll have
I
dead
hear
air.
Yeah, no dead air.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know if I really got your take on what got you into comics in your
Oh.
life.
Oh wow. I guess I've always loved telling stories. Actually, I've always loved kind of like making up stories ever since I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And I guess to me, I saw comics as the most cost effective way for me to do it. Because I mean, if you want to do an animation, you gotta have the program, you gotta have like computer and all that stuff. And if you want to do movie, then it'll cost even more. But to me, comics really all you really need is paper and pencils and pen, and that's about it. And for me, as a kid growing up, without that much resources available to me, I felt that was the most cost-effective way for me to tell my story. And of course, also, I grew up reading comics, especially Japanese manga, because that was easier for me to get here in Malaysia. American comics were difficult to come by here, and even if I could get I could get them. They're quite expensive because you have to remember that $1 is about 4 ringgit here. So if a comic costs
Oh,
if a comic costs like $2 or $2 or $3, it's like what, 12 ringgit here in Malaysia. So as a kid, I don't really have that much money to spend on stuff like that. So Japanese comic were a lot cheaper. They go for like I think 2 or 3 ringgit here. So yeah, they influenced me a lot growing up, and I guess that's how I got into the field. I guess yeah.
that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
To like hear the other side of thing, like how comics are in, say, another country, how people find them.
Yeah,
I did send the link to some other chats, so who maybe we'll see some other people. I did notice that we got some cool people in our chat right now, like DC Fans United and Mecha Studios. So I'm giving them some shout outs.
oh yeah, Mecha Studio is awesome, man.
Yeah, that dude, I'll tell you what, he has some badass logos.
Yeah.
If you see some of his work, yeah, that kid is on it. He's got some skill. And DC Fans United, he's always got some heck of a good video content. He's got some good content over on his channel. DC Fans United.
Yeah, Stefan.
Hey, Stefan.
Hey, my
Hey, what's up, my brother?
Hey, did you change your icon?
Yes, I did actually.
I remember the icon was different last time we were on together.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, this new one here is
Did
actually.
you do that?
Oh, I wish. This is actually something I commissioned from an old friend I used to follow on DeviantArt.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Once again, that's essentially Shiny Cruz, aka the XL Go Razor.
Very cool, though. I mean, yeah, I don't mind. I've used my own character as my avatar, so
Yeah, man. If you have a character, you gotta own it. You gotta shield that shit, man. Oh
Mhm.
shit, no cursing.
For
Sorry.
sure.
No.
Oh no, you guys can. You can. There's no. It's fine. I don't mind shilling. Shill your stuff. Shill it.
Man, I shield any chance I get.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, you don't. We have to rely on ourselves, to promote our stuff. I mean, unless we have like a huge following like EVS or like your boy Zach, then those guys, they can get their fans to shill for them. But for like guys like us, we got to do it ourselves.
Yeah, well, I suppose the closest thing I got to a following is on DeviantArt, and even then, that's just other sort of artists I work with to an extent.
Yeah, yeah, man. Oh God. Hey, Stephen, is your internet connection okay? Because you're kind of coming in and out, audio wise.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's see. I am a little bit away from the camera, from my mic. Hold on. Is this any
All right.
better?
Yeah, it's better. It's better. Yeah, now it's better. Yeah.
All right then.
So you're saying? Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry, I had to mute myself. I got on a train, and that one was really loud. They were blowing their whistle the entire daggum time.
Oh, dang, really?
Yeah. I feel like those train conductors that run by the house, like they do it on purpose. Just be like, hey, I'm up. You wake up too.
Don't you start, man. That's some conspiracy theory shit there, man. Don't you start. It's a deep rabbit hole, man. You don't want to fall in it.
Darn train conductors and their evil schemes to cause sleep deprivation and whatnot.
It kind of reminds me of the first Deus Ex game. You guys remember that?
Deus Ex Machina?
No. The first Deus Ex, the game.
Ah, yeah.
The video game. Yeah, you remember the first game? Not the new one. Not the new one by the Human Revolution. No, it's the old game, the original game. Yeah, where they have this
sadly, I
one.
never played that one.
Oh, you should try it, man. It's just like it's awesome, man. Just pure. It's just awesome, And they have this one character, one of the the agent, and he
Yeah.
claims that and every day he likes to buy a soft drink from the vending machine, the office, and he likes orange. He likes orange soda, and he hates lime. But the problem is, every time he presses the orange soda button, lime would come out from the machine, and he claims that there is a conspiracy against him by the janitor, who purposely put lime to the orange soda button. And if you play through the game, it turns out that he was right. There really was a conspiracy against him by the janitor just to annoy him.
Dang.
It was fucking hilarious. It was like it had no bearing to the main plot. It's just a stupid thing that they put in there that you can discover if you go off the map or something like that. It was silly.
Man,
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yo, DC Fans United says first Deus Ex game is from like 2000, which I can believe. And also Doc is going to bed as he dipped into the chat for a split second. But night, Doc.
Yeah, night, Doc. Night,
Very
Daryl.
well, Doc.
And Mecha Studio says the live stream with Rakita Law was pointless.
What happened? What live stream was?
Well, I don't really watch a whole lot of that guy because I don't know. It's a little, I don't know. It's just not my bag, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's,
The lawyer guy?
yeah,
Yeah, the Comicsgate lawyer dude.
Huh.
yeah.
I tune in once in a while. Just not. I don't know. It doesn't seem bad.
Yeah,
I don't know. His work doesn't seem bad. I mean, I will tune in if I like the topic interesting, but I mean, I don't jump through hoops to see nothing.
Yeah, I think it's one of those channels where unless you're really into law, then it probably wouldn't be all that interesting to you.
yeah, he goes off on tangents and stuff like that, but it's just not as I don't know entertaining as other forms of media that I could be following. Like I don't know, just drawing myself. Just go ahead and draw instead. Work on comics. Just saying, he's not entertaining to me. I'm not nothing against the guy. If you guys want to go watch him, but
Yeah, different strokes and all that. It's all good.
yeah, I have to say I don't know what's up with the whole EVS leaving Comicsgate thing. I guess it is just a big sour egg now. Nobody wants to touch it.
Yeah, I've
Oh, you muted yourself for a second there.
no, sorry. I was talking to my sister. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, sorry. What, are you guys talking about Comicsgate about EVS leaving?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what happened there anyway? Because I mean, for a while I stopped following the drama on Comicsgate, and the next thing I knew, EVS was saying that he's leaving, that he's stepping down as Kaiser, and it's like, what happened?
Yeah, I wasn't too sure about the entire thing myself. It was just kind of, just sort of erupted from there. Yeah,
Well,
I think it was something to do. I think it was something to do with like either some sort of difference of opinion versus trying to police the actions of others. I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, because I heard that it got something to do with Snurkish. Is it true?
Well, that whole thing
think
with
it's like a Jason
Nurkish and Tim Lim, and the whole cash grab thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of weirdness that went down with that, and
Yeah.
I have. Oh shit! We got a cranky writer in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. Nurkish was super fun to watch. I always enjoyed Nurkish's content. It made me laugh hysterically.
Oh yeah.
Um,
He is brutally
and
honest.
Yeah, Nurkish was a straight up comedian. I enjoyed watching his videos.
Yes.
heck yeah.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
And I don't know what would have possibly happened that they could be so, just not being able to work with each other
Mm-hmm.
and not being able to have fun. Like, I don't get it. Like, what
Yeah, I
could
thought
they
they
have
were-
possibly done to each other?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just going to go ahead and add some mods that are watching right now because they're good people and I need good people as mods. I can't not have good mods.
Yeah. Besides, you can't handle everything on
Because-
your own. Yeah. You gotta have people.
Because, I can say this now. Revengers forever. Because I've got some Revengers watching the stream right now. In fact, it's
Yeah.
probably all Revengers folk, or people who know what the Revengers is to some degree. But
really?
yeah, this whole thing with fucking EVS and Nurkish and Tim Lim and Cecil and everybody talking crap and sketch therapy and the war campaign. It's killing all of us.
Mm.
Yeah, all of us joined. Basically, we were all Comicsgate for a split minute, weren't we?
True. Yeah.
We all were like, "Oh yeah, Comicsgate, that's the shit, dude." And then all of a sudden, there's these little tinges within it, And
Yeah,
now
I
we're
mean,
all looking at shaking our heads, face palming, just like, no, man. Just
yeah,
all
it's
the
a
bridges
shame.
are
Yeah,
burning.
Indeed.
yeah. I mean, it's real. I mean, um, if I have to be honest, I think the problem started when they when they started seeing. Hold up, guys. Can you guys hear the rain in the background from me?
No,
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
what?
okay. 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 No. No. If you can't hear it, it's good. I was worried. It started raining here. Anyway. Sorry. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah. I was saying that to me. I think the problem started when they started treating Comicsgate like a brand. You know, when they started treating it like a business venture rather than a consumer movement. I think that's when the problem started. I think, you know, because I
Mm.
mean,
Yeah.
I've been with several different groups before. Um, here where I live, here in Malaysia, and usually when money's involved, things started going sour. You know, when people started seeing the money that could be made from that name, you know, the fame that they can get, then people started wanting a piece of that, and more people started wanting to claim ownership of that thing. I mean, yeah, and I think that's probably when it all started. But then again, I'm not sure, you know, because at the end of the day, I see myself more as an outsider to Comicsgate. I see myself as more of a supporter rather than a member of Comicsgate. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
same here.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You know.
well, I can actually concur with that. It's not like I ever was part of the main industry, and if Comicsgate pretty much started because of professionals being ousted and blacklisted by the industry, well,
Mm.
then I guess technically I can be Comicsgate adjacent, but I'm not necessarily the, able to say, oh yeah, I'm, one of the members of Comicsgate because, well, for one, I wasn't firsthand experiencing the blacklisting of the professionals. And that's really what it came down to was, hey, you're not allowed to work here because you voted this way or that way, or your religious beliefs are this way or that way. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, well, then I guess we'll do our own thing. And then the slander started. They
Indeed.
started talking crap on all the fans and all the people who were like, hey, we don't like your comic. Your
Yeah.
comic sounds wrong. This is wrong. Please stop writing our characters this way.
Hmm.
I'm putting it nicely, but they stopped writing the characters the right way. And yeah. And
Yeah. I mean,
now, go
They
ahead.
killed off most of the major superheroes and replaced them,
true.
Yeah.
bringing them
Yeah.
whole new characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
You're,
Yeah. No. No. Go
go
ahead.
for it. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. No.
You
No.
know,
Sorry. Huh? No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
all right. I was just going
It was
to say,
awkward.
when when all that slander started and they were, they say they're, don't buy these books. Well, don't worry, I won't. You
Yeah.
know, uh, Mio, do you have something there? Speak
No.
your
No.
mind, man.
No. I know. No. Actually, I was saying that one of the sad thing for me about Comicsgate is that I was actually there for the conceiving of Comicsgate, so to speak. Because I mean, to be honest, I was actually like following Comics Artist Pro Secret for a long time. Actually, I mean, I was there like back when he was still having like Mark Wade on his channel. You know, back when he was making like
Mhm.
silly videos defending Draco Malfoy, of all people. I'm not joking. He actually made a video. Yeah, yeah. Oh, really? to me, one of my favorite video from EVS is the one where he was defending Draco Malfoy. He was just doing it for fun, you know. He was saying like oh, Draco is a nice kid, he's a friendly kid, but look at Harry Potter, he's all arrogant and shit, you know. It was really hilarious, you know. And I was there during like the beginning of Comic Artist Pro Secret, back when he was still doing live drawings, back when he was doing like live criticisms of the fans' drawings, where you can send drawings to him for him to criticize and give pointers. And I was also there. And I was also there when your boy Zach first got the idea to do hashtag Move the Needle. And I can't remember what comic he was reviewing, but he was saying that his contact in Marvel was saying that you keep saying all this shit about about our comic, then why don't you do something about it? Why don't you prove to us, to the publishers, that this is the kind of comic that you like, and you move the needle. And he said that, oh, that's a good name, I'm going to use it. And then from there, he said that the contact once again told him that, you say all this shit, why don't you prove it by doing something of your own, by producing your own product. And that's when he did the first comic he did. What was it? Not Ironside. It was the first comic that he did. And from there, Jawbreaker. Yeah, when he said that he wanted to do Jawbreaker, but I couldn't pledge at that time because I didn't have any money. But I was like, oh yeah, it's awesome, and when they come up with the name Comicsgate, I was there when they came up with the name. I was there in the background, kind of like, yeah, do it, guys. I like it, and then to see it burn like this, it's kind of sad for me,
Oh yeah.
Oh snap! We got a slick Jimmy Love in the chat.
Let it go, leader.
How you doing this evening, Slick?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm just finished doing some chores around the house, bedding down, so thought I'd jump in. What are you guys talking about?
Well, it's good to just the downfall of Comicsgate and all of the misfortune that may or may not be that may or may not ensue. Yeah, the drama and nonsense. Just kind of goofing off tonight.
I'm not really.
And also promoting Little Girl Lethal because it's like what $1.50 away from being funded.
Because it's awesome.
I think we're about 300. We're a little bit. Let me see where we're at.
Right.
Let me see where we're at. I gotta refresh, see if it did anything. And my phone is very slow. Like always, I bought the best phone on the market, and now it's just a piece of shit. $9,699. So I need $301.
Holy shit!
Oh snap!
Really?
So yeah.
Congrats, man.
I appreciate that.
Well,
these guys here, EVS said today is like, I don't know if I should have that Slick Jimmy guy back on my show. I gotta get to know him more. There's double agents and weirdos out there, so I guess I qualify now as a double agent weirdo. But
shit, that's not good. Yeah,
it's all right.
What happened now?
I don't know. Somebody did a super chat or something saying, have me back on the show. Have Slick Jimmy back on the show. And that wasn't me. I was just listening to it after it was recorded in the morning. And he was like, I don't know. Well, we'll have to see about that. And I'm like, I must have not made a great impression. But, it is what it is.
Oh, well.
Well, it's your avatar, man. It's too erotic. It's making me feel No Nut November.
Yeah. Maybe I'm giving.
Not the not November thing.
Yeah. It's too hard to compete with No Nut November when Little Girl Lethal's around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their thing. I support everybody. I mean, I'm glad that I'm doing all right, but
Yeah, man. Yeah.
but I mean, I, if I see somebody out there yeah, I'll give them my shout out. It's hard to do a comic book. It's not for the weak-willed. I mean, I guess you could say there's people that just want to go at it half-assed and just put out like an ash can or something. But if you want to do a quality book, you're setting yourself a task. It's a doable task, but it's pretty hard. So,
It's hard as
so
shit.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
give props to anybody who tries it. I mean, any entrepreneur who really has a passion for stuff, whatever it is. I mean, I'm down to give them a bit of props, unless like I look at their product and go, "What are you thinking?" But most of the stuff I see out there right now, it's a lot of creativity, a lot of heart being made right now. And I see people cast aspersions on things that they think are lesser work, and I'm like, that ain't cool. All they need is a little bit of feedback and a little bit of refinement, and a lot of these can just be popping books. You know what I mean? It just takes a
Yeah.
little time.
Oh, sure.
So yeah,
Cool.
and so I'm not upset that EVS is. I mean, I'll keep at it and see if he's willing to talk to me. But if he's not, that's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Not everybody gels. And
Yeah.
maybe he feels that I don't fit in his way of doing things, and that's cool too.
Yeah. I mean, he is pretty old school in the way he views comics. Where and yeah, where it got to be like moral superhero and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I like those things too. That's kind of one of the big things that brought me into the comics sphere. I never really liked that term. I mean, everybody knows I'm kind of comics kid adjacent, but I hold to most of the values.
True.
Some of the shenanigans that were going on, I just didn't like them, and so I decided
Yeah.
to move outside of that. For a time, I was kind of with the movement that right in the center, but we all know what I'm talking about when I'm addressing that, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
call anybody out, but we all know what I'm talking about and who.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed.
And the fact that there was a tacit, condoning of certain people, and
Yeah.
that's everybody's got to have their choice, and I just didn't like it, and at this point, I think some people have seen that doing your own thing, but also having an association with people, and I'm gonna just start calling my thing Sexy Gate if people, and that if that wears out, that wears out, and I'll move on to something else. I like Comics Verse and Indiesphere. That's pretty cool. Indiesphere, those are
Yeah.
cool things, and I don't have a problem talking to people on the other side. If you guys have been watching me, I will totally talk to some people, and if they're not polite, then I'll just thank them for their feedback and I wish them a nice day, and and that's it. I don't have to get mean with them. That's one of the things I don't understand about Twitter. Sorry, I'm going on here, but I hear this all the
It's
time.
quite all right.
Oh, well,
I hear this about
I've
Twitter
met
all the
plenty
time.
of people.
Hello.
Say what now? Somebody was roboting like crazy for a split second.
Oh, sorry. But what I'm saying is Twitter. I hear people complain about how it's such a dumpster fire, and yeah, politically, it is. It's just I don't get into political things. I don't give a shit. I mean, I have my yeah. Well, I think everybody has their opinions, but once in a while I'll say something, but I don't really I don't point it right at somebody. I make a general statement, and if somebody has a problem with it, and they usually don't, I've kind of learned how to navigate that. But when it comes to this thing, our thing, the comics, all you have to do is be nice, be polite, and then if somebody has a disagreement, say, sorry, we disagree. I hope you have a good day and be well and live long and prosper, or whatever the hell you want to say like that. But I was listening to Cody Fernandez and Josh, the Amazing Animator. We're talking to some guy, and he was saying that that mentality of being just polite to consumers and just your colleagues in general, somehow that puts the kibosh that suppresses creativity and having artists being able to express themselves the way they want. And I was just like, I have to admit, I had to hold my tongue, and then I went and talked in one of the chat rooms and just vented, because to me that wasn't a very smart idea. But people have their own opinions. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I mean, if we can just be kind to each other, and I'm not just talking about within our own groups, in general, at least in our little portion of Twitter, things are going to get a lot better if we do. But we haven't been doing that for a while. And again, I refer back to what I said before. I'm not trying to Voldemort anything. I just don't want to deal with those guys. If they come after me, I'm just going to ignore them. And there is a mute button. And
Yep.
Hilarious.
I don't want to alienate them either. I want them as consumers. I just don't want, their bad behavior rubbing off.
I never want to have to ever block anyone ever. I never want to have to feel that I need to block you because of whatever.
Right.
Like, I always want to be able to find that common ground and be at peace with people. And, if we have our disagreements, let's agree to disagree and not be angry at each other, because, Slick, if there's anybody who I have to say, you're one of the most positive voices in the community that I know.
Well, I try. I mean, I have the one detraction, it seems, that I have a book that isn't, superhero-ish. I mean, although my character is a super powered individual if you get down to it. All right. But, everybody looks at the cover and they look at the interior and they think immediately this is some sort of porn book. And again, like I said, I have erotica, which is a strike against me in some circles. And in others, it's, they like that. And I am trying to, I suppose I'm trying to trigger the other side that has the crazy people. But I don't know if you guys saw today, some young lady named Chrissy came in and actually from the other side, from saying that she was an SJW and everything. But she wanted to support a good book, and she thought my book was a good book, so she was going to support it.
And, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, that was a gratifying thing.
That's where Slick. I'm sorry. I just kind of got a little some sort of way. Like, that's really cool, man. I want that to happen. I want us to transcend. I want us to find common ground, and I want the SJWs to be like, oh, you know what? It's not this. It's it's not that thing. We don't have to fight about silly nonsense. Let's find our common ground. Let's agree that this is good stuff. Let's at least agree on this. That's actually really cool to me.
And I'm very lucky that people look at the art. I'm very lucky. I have a really good artist. Now, people are taken on faith that I actually know what I'm doing with writing. And I have touted myself as a good writer. I hope that my touting is, and all the time I've spent writing and talking with other writers has paid off, and I'm not just delivering myself. But I don't think I am. I'm lucky that I have this great artist that gets people to look at my stuff. However, I don't think that the more cartoony stuff or the quote unquote more amateurish stuff is any less, because there have been some great artists in the past that have made a real go of it. And sometimes they've had a longer career than some highly skilled artists that just burned out. You know what I mean? So,
think about Gru the Wanderer.
Yeah. I mean, like, his style was so expressive, although it was simplistic, but I think he's still doing it. Ardones, I mean, he's still doing it.
If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, that's amazing. And he worked forever for like Mad Magazine and did other stuff. And he's one of like I have probably 100 issues of Groove sitting in a box in a storage locker. And I love that stuff. And there are other people like I have a Crumb, and to me Crumb was very rudimentary, but his style has become kind of classic, although it's really weird. You can tell he smoked a lot of dope or whatever he's doing. But this is the thing. Like, there's another guy that I know locally in town. He does Schlock Mercenary that started out as a web comic, and he is now.
Oh yeah, I know. I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done multiple volumes now because he just keeps pumping out those daily strips that just they keep telling the story one on top of the other until he has like these arcs that he can make into graphic novels, and he just keeps doing it. I mean, he lives right next. He literally lives right next to my cousin, like the house next door, and he's a nice guy. He's kind of quirky, but he's made a go of it. He's actually quite left leaning, strangely enough, although he's a Mormon. But he, yeah, I know. There are left leaning Mormons, trust me. But
Head scratcher.
Well, he and my brain's Sanderson, Mistborn and all that stuff. He's an author. What's his name? Brandon Sanderson. They do a podcast called Writing Excuses, and they do that. They've been doing that forever, and they got like a Nebula and a Hugo for that, doing the podcast. I mean, this is the type of stuff that can happen if you have perseverance, if you have diligence, if you have passion. And I've always had, just done things as like an avocation, like a hobby, and then kind of focus myself on stuff that's either 9 to 5 or like freelancing. And it's not allowed me to be. Circumstance of life hasn't allowed me to do this, but this last little bit, I'm just gratified. I'm actually becoming a creator, finally, using working for some other person, and it's really exciting. And I think all of you guys can do that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
we got here.
Hey, Wayne's back.
Oh wow!
Snap. Who's this now?
Allah Akbar.
Optimus.
Did he say Allah Akbar?
Yes. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. Aloha snack bar.
I like your avatar, man. That's cool.
Thank
That
you.
is glorious. Optimus for president.
Yeah.
Damn straight, man.
He's laying out justice for the free world.
Freedom.
Welcome to the channel, Optimus. I have a train going by right as you join the chat. Welcome.
Contact.
So what?
I'm sorry, I was just making a joke there.
Oh, well, no. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry I was a little late getting in. I decided to go have a snack because I was hungry.
Late night, midnight snack. Where are you at?
It's quite all right.
Let's see. What's your channel on YouTube? I can.
Optimus.
Who are we talking about? Who's that directed at?
Well, Slick Jimmy, the creator, asked Optimus a question.
Oh,
What's your channel, Optimus?
What's my channel?
What's your handle?
Oh, on the like on Twitter or whatever, or
in Twitter or YouTube,
anything. Give us options so that way we can get to know you better. Because I think most of the people here are unfamiliar with you.
Right, that's fine. On Twitter I'm at Optimus Deadpool.
And also I hate dead air.
Dude, you're really robotic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the
like you're slurring the word. Like, yes.
I dressed as a robot, and you became one.
Down like
That's
a
it.
drunken robot.
Okay.
So, Optimus,
Yes, sir.
do you have a project or do you have like a channel? Something
Yeah, my
like that?
channel. What my channel is graded 0.5.
Uh-huh.
It was started by some other lads, and unfortunately, he decided to abandon it because anxiety, things like that, things didn't quite work out for him. Handed the thing over to me. I've been kind of like working to revamp it for a while, and it's going to be a nice. We're going to have a nice space for creators and fans and things to come and interact and hang out, push their projects and things like that. Because, as I was said to people earlier, in Piper's stream, in my opinion, DC and Marvel are dead to us. They don't care. They don't care about us anymore. They don't care about the fan,
Pretty much.
because Marvel and DC are just now IP holders. They're just like, so we can make movies and stuff like that. So, my thing is, it's like, it's time to like, the decision has been made. Then it's time to like make a new comic book industry. We need new creators, new talent, and those people need to be highlighted. So,
Yes, indeed.
Well, I agree with that. Unless something is course corrected within Marvel and DC, yeah, you're right. They're going to be IP farms,
Yeah.
which is really sad because of the legacy and because of the iconic stature they have within our own collective American mythology. But
Mhm.
That leaves a vacuum, and things can rise again. We can make new stories built on the shoulders of giants or the fallen empires, I guess, if you want to put it that way. I think that can happen, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to build my own universe. I mean, I have pipe dreams and delusions of glory, but you work hard, maybe they come about, and I think that is for everybody. You got a good idea, a good story to tell, and good ethics. I think behind it is also a good something that might work. And not everybody can make Cross go.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sure.
I mean, but there's a market for everything, I suppose.
Yeah. My thing is, it's like, I've always had this feeling. You put your work out there. If you're willing to, put the work, do the job, get that. The term I've been using in the last few days is get that hustle. Get out there, put yourself out there. You will find an audience.
Yes,
There's
indeed.
you just have to find your niche,
Mhm.
and then as you go, I would hope that you could broaden a demographic.
Right.
But if you can find that core, I was talking to some authors, and they were successful, and they said what you really need to do is you need to find those fans, those backers and supporters that are just going to be there for you, and then you keep feeding them.
Mhm.
Once you get your first product out there, don't just sit on that product. Get on the next one. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you're building a universe, then you do that. I mean, EBS is going from Cyberfrog to Rainbow Brute to some other
Mhm.
product, and I mean he can do that too. That's not necessarily what I would do. It seems like too much of a bouncing around. I want to build something that when I'm done, I at least have one saga done.
Mhm.
That's what I want to do if I
Yeah,
can.
same here.
So,
And
like,
then-
if you were, like, for example, if like you were EVS right now, after Blood Honey's done, you'd be right into Wreck Planet, going right to the next
Yeah,
stage of that
I mean,
story. Yeah.
I'm not saying that I necessarily would be the one drawing it. If he can, because he has the money now to hire somebody else to do the second issue. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, and then I'd have them doing the second issue, and then I would focus on Rainbow Brute because personally, I think Rainbow Brute is much more exciting. I'm not to detract from Cyberfrog, but I like Rainbow Brute better as a concept.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
and
To
so
be
too.
fair, I thought Salamandroid was cooler.
I've said,
see, but that's taste. I mean, and you
Yeah.
can have that. I mean, Salamandroid. Yeah, if he wanted to go and do Salamandroid or have somebody do Salamandroid, that would be something too, because he's got latitude now because he's got some money, and
Yeah.
and if he invests it properly, he'll get return on it because he's got the platform and the base. I mean, that's something that each one of us, if we can, would like to build something, something like that. But I mean, he's 25 years in the business, so everybody knows who
Oh
he
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And that's so
Hey,
we
when
have to.
you have enough money, you could just form like a team dedicated
Right.
to working on different things you put together.
Sure. I mean, and that's the thing. Like
What
I
we got did.
have a group of people that I kind of hang out with here on Twitter, and y'all kind of a periphery of that. That's why I drop in. But we talk about a lot of things, and for a long time there was some talk within a certain sphere that we were the B team, and I'm like, that's fine. Call us what you want, but I'm coming. I am,
Mhm.
and I'm going to be here. And there are a lot of us who are very talented that will be right on the heels of these guys. I think you guys could do that too, if you want to.
Well, the key with
Oh,
it,
yeah,
when
of
somebody
course.
when somebody calls you the B team, he's like, all right, but I'm gonna be the A team.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, and for me, like they can call me the B team they want. For me,
Mhm.
it's my show. I mean, what I'm doing is my thing with me and Whiskey Paint, and anybody else I wanted to bring in to do stuff. But yeah, I'm second fiddle to nobody in what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, even before the mess with Marvel and DC, I've always wanted to make my own sort of universe and stuff.
Well,
For
that's
all
the
the
nice
ideas
thing
I put out.
what's happened with this is now there are people who will listen. We can get out there and we can promote ourselves. We can pass it around. I mean, you put a good product out there and you push and you push and you push and you plan. That's the other thing. You can make a go of it and be
Mhm.
realistic. I set a high goal for me, $10,000, but I've seen other people put goals of 20,000. I'm like, okay, if you got the base.
Mhm.
Yeah, you'll be able to do it. I mean, Brian Polito does right now. He just throws it out there and gets $250,000 for Lady Death. But Lady Death's been around for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, I buy Brian's stuff. Damn.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have much of a base by myself, so I couldn't pull off any of those anything
Well, I
bigger
mean,
than
that's what you work at. I mean,
Yeah.
you find yourself a good artist if you're not an artist yourself, and you workshop your writing,
Mhm.
pass it around to some people that you trust, and let them rip it apart a little bit, and then you put together a book, and then you do all the other minutia, which is getting the printing and
Yeah.
format, all that business. That's I still have to figure out the printing. Like I'm hoping
Yeah.
some of these guys give me some pointers because damn, I've been
I
shopping
have-
around locally.
Yeah, I'm only an okay artist. I'd have to hire somebody for anything official at this point.
Yeah, I did
So
preliminary searching, just like, hey, Google, tell me what's going on. And found a few printing houses. And I'm like, no, I won't say initial print runs. I mean, it's weird when you look at it. It's kind of the printing part is probably the most expensive part of it, besides
Yeah.
paying your artist or your writer or whatever like that, the page rates and things like that. But it's amazing. It's just, I was like, even that is like, wasn't that bad? You know what I mean? It wasn't that much of a, out of pocket
page rate
expense.
actually. I mean, you can find pretty good artists for fairly reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, my artist is better than pretty good. But even so, like I worked for my relationship with him and the page rate that I get. Plus, I'm sharing half everything I make, not on my novelization, but everything else that comes from this, I half of them because he's my partner, he's my bud, and we're gonna go at this thing. But he spends all of his time over there in Russia, drawing things and occasionally
is he one of these bots that I've heard about so much on Twitter?
He claims being the Russian bot. He's
Okay.
the son of a KGB colonel. And, I'm not joking, actually.
That's amazing.
And yeah, to me, it's totally amazing. I've said this before. It's a miracle. I'm working with a Russian guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little bit older, I think, than you guys. And I grew up in the Cold War. It's kind of. Yeah.
Oh, I came in on the tail end of the Cold War. I kind of know. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's pretty, like I said, miraculous is my best word for that. So are you doing a project besides your channel?
Eventually, I have an idea. I've got one I'm cultivating with a friend. that we, you know, it was one night we were just kind of spitballing. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away. I'm just the way I describe it in the very brief preliminary would be: imagine mixing Knight Rider with Hunt for Red October.
Oh,
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, see, I got your attention right now. You know,
yeah, I'd give that a look. Just from that description.
So is it like is the submarine like sentient?
yeah, it's an AI. It's a sentient AI installed on a 50s era submarine.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Nautiluses.
it's a I forgot.
October, standing by.
This particular one would be in the what do you call it? The blue black class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I use Hunt for October because it's the most famous sub kind of movie kind of thing, you know, that I could think of. But yeah, it's gonna be centered on like and you know the hook will be, which I think will be you'll find funny. The hook is the AI is suicidal.
This is a nuclear armed and powered sub.
Not at that point. No, it's not nuclear armed, but it will be eventually. But the whole thing is like it's just kind of depressed because. You know how Knight Rider, you know, we've all, you know, if you grew up in the 80s, you know what Knight Rider is. If you don't, go look up Knight Rider. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kit wasn't
Technically,
really
I'm a 90s
suicidal.
kid, but
He
yeah.
wasn't depressed. He was just snarky as shit.
Yeah. Well, the deal is like, you know, because Kit was, you know, he was in a vehicle he was designed to be in, right?
Yeah.
What would happen if you were designed to be in something else, but you ended up in another vehicle? Especially one that's in the deep, dark ocean all the time.
He could never find love. It's sad.
Yeah. Well, one of the jokes is like his creator, you know, like his, you know, the designer of his AI. Every day he's just like, would you please unplug me? Please turn me off.
It's a sad story.
Please, I beg of you. This existence is not for me.
Yeah. It's like, it's not working out.
Dave.
Like you were meant to be a battle droid, but you're stuck in like a maintenance droid by it.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, man. What's the what happens? Is there a main story? Is it just kind of adventures into the sea? What are we doing?
Yeah, it's like it's going to be we decided we're going to do a 3-parter, right? The first part is like the initial like introduction.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, plug the shit out of that.
Okay, yeah. The initial introduction is like my friend. He's pretty smart. He came up with this idea for the basis of this book called the Johnson Amendment. And what this is, which I think is kind of cool, it all started because there was this series of events that happened with this professor, his bodyguard, his kid, and his ward. I'm talking about Johnny Quest here. It's kind of the joke. And
you're a smart ass.
Yeah. The joke is that because of, there were like, a lot of adventure things would happen and like property would get destroyed. So Lyndon Johnson commissioned the Johnson Amendment, which basically absolves these people of their crimes, like destroying property and stuff because it's done for the greater good kind of thing. So, yeah. And so that's the basis of it. And then we get to the part where get to the AI and the sub. The joke is the commander of the sub is a blithering moron.
And so you have a suicidal sub with a blithering skipper.
Yeah, blithering skipper. The creator, the person who made the AI, they're probably the smarter, the one who's like kind of like, hey, let's not do stupid things, kind of thing,
Yeah, they're the ones who know what's going on.
Yeah, and the whole story is like a crisis happens. This terrorist group or whatever, they decide, they tell like we don't want to see any ships or subs coming near us because it's taking place on the ocean. But it's really funny because this particular sub got lost in the shuffle, so they kind of forgot that it existed. And then, we have this one sub that's decommissioned that nobody knows about. Let's contact them and tell them to go take care of this problem for us. And that's how the adventure starts.
Okay, that's it. So it's like a submarine gunfight, like Red October.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of the jokes we've because you know how anything, especially in government budgets, if the government has a budget, they got to spend that money or they won't get an increase the next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not only was this AI developed, but now this sub has been outfitted with really crazy shit. Like it's got foldable tank treads and things like, so it could actually go on land.
Huh.
And so we have a scene. Now you got to picture this in your head. You got a scene, right? Because all this AI has ever wanted to do is like be on land. It doesn't like the water. It's not made for the water, right? He finds out he's got tank treads. So as soon as he finds that out, he's going to try to get the land, right? So the joke is he goes, and it's going to be a full page spread. He breaches out of the off onto a beach, right? He breaches as fast as he can. He's in midair, and he yells, "Yeah!" And then the next page, he lands sideways and can't move, and he goes, "No!"
Darn the luck, darn.
Yeah.
So he beaches himself like a whale.
He beats himself like a whale, and so they
I've
have to
fallen,
wait
I
for.
can't get up.
So they have to wait for the tide to come in. So they leave, like the crew leaves him to go shopping while he's stuck.
No, that shit was fair. There was time now. There was time.
Oh, that's just cruel.
Torturing this poor submarine.
It's worse because he's sentient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
It's like when they come back a few hours later and he's unbeached. They say, "Well, where's the sub's name is Carl." Carl stands for Kinetic All-Terrain Reconnaissance Land Vehicle.
How big is he? What are we talking? How many feet?
I can't. I got the basis for the submarine. It's like I know it's based on the first one is based on the USS Blueback. So, I have to look, but it's a big boy.
So it's not a small.
Yeah, it's not a small submarine at all. Yeah,
Okay.
it could have a full crew complement. Yeah.
I really love shit like that. When robots go like, "Well, why was I programmed to feel pain?"
Yeah.
Shit like that. It's like, who would do something like that? It's horrible.
Why would they give a bird wings but he can't fly?
Yes.
So the joke is like after he gets unbeached, right? I keep saying the joke. This whole book is full of jokes, but he gets unbeached like after the tide comes in. So they come back and it's like, "Well, where's Carl?" And like they'll show him like he's out on out a little bit out at sea, but he's like going in a circle, going back and forth between these two like yachts.
Yeah.
He's like, "Carl, what are you doing?" He's like, "Mommy and Daddy want to play with me," because he's gone crazy at this point. He's like,
something?
Mm-hmm.
You know something? I'm thinking about this poor friggin' robotic submarine AI, and I'm getting flashbacks to that robot from like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I was just always miserable. Growing up, it was like, oh, this is just so depressing.
Yeah.
So the thing that comes to my mind is like he says he's beached on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Like a dog, like while they're off doing whatever they're doing, you have like little panels of like a dog comes by and like pisses on his antenna or something like that. And he's like, "Ah!" And then like some kids come by and they start like burying his periscope, and he's like, "Ah!" And then you got some teenagers come up and they start whacking his propeller, tang. He's like, "Leave my ass alone!"
Yeah.
What is this? Screw with the submarine day? What's wrong with you people?
Yeah. And
like,
Carl swearing nuclear destruction on humanity is like, when I finally get my nuclear.
Yeah, when I finally get my nukes kind of thing. Yeah. And
I'm gonna burn you all.
It's great. Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be great. Trying to line up the artist. I'm trying to convince him. Well, here's the thing. He does right now. He does commissions and stuff, and he does like he does porn. He draws porn, and
porn. I can't believe you do something like that.
Yeah, for money, right?
What's terrible.
What a horrible person. But
I'm doing that all the time.
I'm joking.
So I told him straight up. I was like, "Look, you can." He said, "Why?" He said, "I don't know if I can draw a sub, dude." I was like, "Dude, you draw dicks all the time. It's just larger dick." It's just a very long metal dick. That's all it is.
Yeah, big old phallic symbol.
One of the other.
On top of everything else, I've been reduced to a giant dick.
Another what do you call another gadget he has like helicopter propellers. But the thing is, like, they didn't balance him correctly, so he can hover slightly off the ocean, but his nose drags into the water. Yeah, exactly.
I hate you all. My life sucks so much.
See,
I swear, the first
would make
people
that a
who's gonna
running.
kill would be
I would definitely make that a running gag. The submarine always gets like short of the stick.
Yeah.
Shit's always happening to the submarine, and there you go. And then I think it would be funny if you did like he falls in love with, say, like, like an aircraft carrier or something like that. Like, it's some big mama, he's like mooning over the aircraft carrier or some shit.
he falls in, like, what's the G.I. Joe, the USS Flag? He falls in love with the flag.
Oh God!
Don't leave me, baby.
Please,
I meant
one good thing in my life. Don't leave me.
don't fly away. Oh my God!
Well, we figured, when me and my friend were looking at it, it's like, there's kind of lack of like comedy, kind of.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna seriously, if you're gonna do comedy, first of all, I'm gonna warn you with comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy is one of the hardest things to write and really well.
Yeah, I usually need to be set up to be funny personally.
And it's something you can study so you can understand like beats and things.
Mm-hmm.
But that if you're good at it, it'll just come naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I'm not trying to dissuade you. It'll take a little bit more than just thought about it. Comedy is hard as shit to do.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, man. I mean, seriously, just look at the stuff that the NPCs can come up with. All the jokes, shit.
They can't do comedy, and like they rely on that cutesy speak. That kind of, like Zach says, that Whedon-esque speak, which it can be funny if you know how to do it, but they do it so much that it just becomes so like it's flat and uninteresting, and they think it's just hilarious. I don't understand why they think it's so funny, because they put it in the weirdest places too. If you watch Buffy, all right, Buffy was good at it, and it's still pretty funny. But there were times when she was very serious, right, as opposed to always like making some just flippant ditzy joke. She would be serious. Even the movie, when the original character with Christy Swanson was the character who was actually my favorite Buffy, which everybody who loves Buffy freaks out when I say that, but she had that ditzy quality. But then all of a sudden she'd get serious and then like be kicking ass, and then she'd say like a little quip, and that's the beats I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, because obviously this is gonna have serious moments because there's terrorists trying to destroy the world, and stuff. So we've been talking about that, kind of balancing it. You know what I mean? So
and there is comedy in that, but again, there's a good example is Shakespeare. Now, every one of his tragedies, you'll see a point there where he'll throw in like this little joke session. In Hamlet, there's two guards that make jokes and then they get scared off by the ghost. And then there's in every one of them there'll be some little levity, and it means it brings up the out of the tension, and then the tension rises again. The opposite goes with the comedy. You want to have seriousness, but then like lots of levity, and then they'll have moments of seriousness. Do you know what I mean? It's like a flip. It's like a reverse. And that's how you work it. But again, it's all about timing, and if you learn the timing pattern, it's pretty easy to, I hate to use this word, but manipulate the audience into laughing using ridiculousness and funny situations. But if it hits wrong, it just, you've seen it, it comes out flat.
Yeah,
every movie you've ever seen, there'll be like a joke and it's flat, and it's because they just missed it. And I've always wondered why we didn't have an Academy Award for best, comedy of the year, because personally, like all those other like dramatic stuff, they're great when they're done well, but they're not the same sort of thing. It like every time I watch a comedy, when you watch something like Ace Ventura, it's been like 25 years since the first one, and it's still as funny as it was then. I mean, it still is.
Oh yeah, sure.
And there's stuff that's in the 50s that's hilarious. There's some of the stuff that goes way back to like the slapstick era of Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers. And the Marx Brothers are still funny as shit. It's because they have the timing. And it's like I said, you get that right, it'll sell. People will eat it up.
Okay. Yeah, you're exactly right. Like,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You probably have it. I like the premise is pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as we started to get into, I was like, this could be really funny.
No, and also I think the reason that like, the reason like the reason why the like people like the SJWs and the NPCs can't do comedies because they take everything so seriously. They're too afraid of offending people. They are too afraid of being viewed as being amoral, so to speak. So their comedies came out being flat. I mean, like what you described with Carl and the Submarine. I mean, if you really think about it, it's a really horrible existence being this sentient thing. Yeah, and yet
that's pretty funny though.
Yeah, and yet you made it funny because for people like us, we look at it and we go like, it's absurd and it's funny, Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the reasons.
I can't wait for the eventual protest. It's like, I can't believe you're doing this to this pure creature. I'm like, let me do my EVS impression. It's a comic book.
Submarine lives matter.
One of the reasons I think the SJWs or the NPCs or whatever we want to call them aren't funny is, and you'll see people like Sarah Silverman, who used to be pretty funny, and then
I used to like Sarah Silverman,
and then she started to kowtowing to this trying not to offend people. She was an offensive comic. That was her shtick, right? And exactly. She wasn't afraid. She wasn't afraid to be offensive. Now she is afraid, and she's no longer funny. She's just snarky and condescending, and there you go.
Well, we have this.
These ruined snark and sarcasm.
Well, I don't mind snark and sarcasm as long as you know how to employ it, and then you are willing to take risks, like true risks. Good comedy takes risks, and a lot of the comedians now don't take risks because they're afraid of getting blackballed and losing their careers. And so you have, Anthony Jeselnik. If you guys ever listen to him, he's so offensive, and but he's so damn funny, and he hasn't ever let go of that. He still does comedy tours, but he's lost a lot of gigs on television because people called in and complained and said, I can't believe he said that. And just like,
why would you put him on our TV? What is wrong with you?
Exactly. And like, it bums me out because I loved his show on Comedy Central until he did a joke about some guy dying by being eaten by the shark, by a shark. And the people in Australia or New Zealand or wherever it was, they howled bloody murder and basically got him shit canned because he made a joke. Yeah. That's the problem with comedy today.
Yeah. Well, they should have had a problem with him, with fucking Jaws then too.
Well, yeah. It just people get I can't remember what he did. He had it's basically saying when people get eaten by the sharks, he had a shark celebration because we kill so many sharks, so the sharks get one back, and then he had like some girl in a shark outfit come in and give him a lap dance, and it's pretty funny, but some people got upset and it got him booted.
Wait, a shark lap dance?
We had.
What? Sorry,
I was gonna say we had a phrase especially during 2016, that the left can't meme. And
yeah.
They still can't meme.
It's
Yeah,
true
exactly.
today. Yeah.
they haven't learned anything in 2 years.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is,
meme-
like,
wow.
I don't get how they don't know how to do it. I didn't grow up in meme culture. I kind of came in a little late. I was like a forum guy doing writing and things.
Yeah.
I jumped right in, and people when we watch my feed, I use GIFs and stuff pretty fastly. And then you watch the other side,
I
and
won't
it's
lie,
like,
I'm not good at memes myself.
yeah, well, I mean, that's fine. You get to meme
And
yourself.
coincidentally, I have been pretty left leaning for a while.
Well, and that's fine. But I mean, like, you be self-deprecating at the same time, and you can use memes pretty easily. If you take yourself too seriously, I mean, you end up looking like a jackass.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that. I mean, it's like this whole like NPC meme, you know. I mean, it started out as it started out on 4chan as a way of making fun of all of us, of all of us normies. They were saying that anyone who is not 4chan are NPCs, and then but we see it and we laugh at it. We thought it was funny, but the SJW see it and they got mad. To
Yeah,
the
they got
point that
Because it
flipped the
fits
fuck
you
out.
on
I couldn't
TV.
believe it. I was like, what are you guys? Why are you so mad about that?
Yeah. They,
Just the very fact that you get mad at it makes you the MTC even more. What, can't you see that?
mhm.
yeah, I mean they call people Russian bots and we laugh at it. We thought it was funny, but
Yeah, we embrace it.
Yeah, yeah, we embraced it. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that's the thing is like, and they get upset about soy boy and cuck and like all this stuff. I'm just like, guys, like you're calling us like, what was the thing that whole living of Chuck Wendig did?
Incel.
Yeah, well, yeah, incel. Like, and the thing that Chuck Wendig said, they just went, he went crazy, and I'm like, and you're upset about cuck and this stuff. I mean, even incel, just like, okay, you're calling us virgins.
Mhm.
Okay, whatever. What are you talking about? I know,
Yeah.
I know what
Kinda
I've
weird
done.
considering most of the main comics gay folks are all married with children.
Yeah, I
The,
mean, like everybody's, and the thing is like it's not that hard to go out and get laid. I mean, for God's sakes, it's not.
mhm.
You're not going to be picky. If you're trying to get a supermodel, sure, but I mean, women want to have sex. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that
I mean,
hard.
you can nail a 6 or a 7. That's like,
Yeah, I mean, not to say that, but I mean, just about anybody, if you go out there and be perseverant and you be at least a little bit nice but not too nice, and show a little confidence, girls respond, ladies respond, and it's not hard. Ladies want to have sex.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned about like these guys trying to make fun of us, right? Like I just got into an argument on Twitter with this NPC, right? And she was trying to say that I have a small dick, and so I just write back to her. Yeah. The thing is that I just write back to her. Well, I am Asian, so
you see, you did the perfect thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just self-deprecating. You just self-deprecating. Yeah, I am Asian, so what? What do you want me to say? Guess what? We have lots of Asians, so our dicks work.
We have there's a rule. I found a few rules that you really piss off an NPC. Right? Here's some things you can do when they try to, like they come at you. You say something to them, and then they come and insult you. You like that? You like and retweet their tweet. They hate that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They hate. Yeah, when you retweet their tweet, they I don't know why they get so mad about it, but you retweet something and they think I don't know what it is. They get mad,
Mhm.
and I don't do it at all. But I mean, I've watched it. I'm just like, why are they upset about that?
And
I think I know why. The thing about NPCs is that they like to get their social media friends to gang up on people, right?
Mhm.
So maybe just maybe this is a theory. This is just me guessing here. Maybe they thought that us retweeting them is our way of trying to get our followers to gang up on them. Maybe
Well,
maybe I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, you're putting it out there. Look what somebody said to me. But I mean, it's not like I think they think we're dog whistling.
Mhm.
Come here.
yeah.
another thing that gets them really mad is when you do that. Like me and my friend, we do this to each other all the time. But if you do it like with them, it's hilarious. Like they'll insult you, and we kind of do the whole, like what happened in 2016 with Trump. You know how every week it was like, this is truly the end of the Trump campaign, every week until he actually won, So they like, especially if it's in a thread, like a bunch of us are in a thread, and then like this, they say something like, well, you're gonna die a lonely old man. That's like, well, it is. I will never recover from this. It is truly over. It's truly over for me now. They can't stand that you hit yourself harder than they ever could. Like.
Ain't like I can share a coffin.
A friend of mine, this is like the absolute funniest story that he had on an NPC. It was a few years ago. Yeah. There was a guy. He was having an argument with it was a bunch of guys that were trying to dogpile on him. And he's like one of those guys. He's like, yeah, just come at me. I don't care. And then this guy said, you know what? I bet you live at home. My friend didn't even think about it. He said he literally went to sleep. He woke up. He said, I'm hungry. I'm going to get a snack. He's walking downstairs to get a snack. Halfway downstairs, he said, wait a minute. Everyone lives at home. So he turns back around and he gets on Twitter and he says, who the fuck doesn't live at home?
He probably says you live at home with your mother.
Yeah, that's what that's the implication. But he just like, but how easily we turn that around on him, like everyone lives at home, my dude.
Yeah, I'm sure most people do live at home. I mean,
yeah, and like he even came up with like a few he came up with like a few like little games about it too. He says I lived in a house, I moved out of a house, I moved into a tree. The tree is my home. I still live at home.
God. And they love how easy it is to piss them off.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
just about anything can piss them off.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the thing is like I've noticed that we often within our groups we banter with each other. We should talk each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's not very acrimonious. We're just fucking around with each other. But I don't see that in there. Like I'll watch some of their threads and they don't do that. They just they constantly backpat each other and affirmate their affirmations.
Exactly.
Good job, NPC 437.
Have you ever noticed that though? If you watch
yes,
and they just sit there and they tell each other how good things is, and then they sit there and they just pick at us or whoever they're upset with, and just being snotty as all get out. But they never like start shit talking each other just for fun. And I see that all the time in our set.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like here's an example. Friend of mine, and we're in this Discord server. He just all of a sudden he just says he calls me Fagtimus Queerpool. and my response was, "Damn dog." I mean it is truly over for me now. I'm gonna go end it all.
Jeez.
There's another. I forgot what I'm trying to think. Yeah, that was on the tip of my tongue. I was thinking about another story of something similar to that, but it kind of. It all comes back to stuff like that. There's ways to deal with these dummies, right? All you got to do is look at you were talking about like that backpatting and stuff like that. Just go look at a Trump tweet, right? Look at one Trump tweet, look at the replies. And those people, like one guy, they think this guy has got the sickest burn in the history of burns.
Guys, sorry, I got to answer the phone.
Go ahead. Yeah. But they think, this guy, he's literally pulled out the biggest burn in the history of all burns. And then it's just like, oh, it'll be 300 replies. Says, oh, you got him good. That's like, you realize he probably didn't even see it, right?
He's the fucking president. He's the fucking president. There's like thousands and thousands of replies. He doesn't read hardly any of them. He might read some ones that are nice to him, but anybody who doesn't need, I doubt he's shit talking straight to somebody.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
He's shit talking like Congress, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I said, the thing is, when he got elected, I said the night. Of course, me and my friends, we were celebrating because it was the most hilarious thing, all the crying and stuff that was going on. And I said, guys, do you realize we have a shit poster as president?
Yeah, definitely.
I said, this is the greatest night in the history of ever.
I think that's half the problem why they hate him so much is he's one of us in that way.
Mhm.
You know, we shit talk, and he does the same thing, only just on a broader scale. Hell, he shit talks other countries.
Yeah. I mean, did you see the burn he had on Democrats the other day?
No, not specifically.
Oh, it was talking about because they're doing all these recounts in Florida and stuff like that. And he says it's funny how the Republicans were up like 50,000 votes. All of a sudden, out of one county where now the lead is down to 17,000 votes. He says, did Russia interfere? Do we have to go get an apologies from President Putin?
He's not the president I ever envisioned in our
in our
Oval Office, but goodness gracious, sometimes it is amusing the things that go on with him.
I say tell my friends at least once a week. I say, guys, I'm still not tired of winning.
Well, the thing is, like they won the House back, and I think they expected like all the people for Trump and all the Republicans just to go, oh, woe is me, and it seemed like no, we were like, oh, okay, fine, we still got the Senate, we still got the president, we still got the Supreme Court.
Yeah, my thinking was I had a bad feeling that if they didn't win something that night, there probably would have been riots.
I'm pretty sure there would have been.
Yeah,
and
it's just
so much for that blue wave. It was more like a blue trickle. I mean,
I called it a blue piddle. It's like your little your Pomeranian hiked its leg up next to your shoes and like did a little squirt.
Well, I'm sure there would have been something going down because
if you look like about 9 p.m. before they started calling some races and stuff, by 9 p.m. things were not looking good for the Democrats because a lot of the the forecasting sites were like starting to shift towards Republican.
Yeah,
like on the Young Turks, like Cenk looked like he was about to like have a stroke. Yeah. He was like, he literally had that look on, oh God, not again.
Cenk always looks like he's about to have a stroke.
Yeah.
When he gets going, his face gets so red and he gets freaked out.
Yeah. You could tell he was getting trolled because on their chat, like people were posting spoons and calling him water buffalo and
oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
I still say Cenk, the maddest I ever seen Cenk was when Alex Jones came up to him during their live stream.
Oh my God, yes. When Alex Jones just randomly walked up.
Yeah, and gave him a shirt. Yeah. He gave him a shirt, and then the pose he did afterwards, like Cenk was like mad as hell, and Alex Jones got his hands at his hips, looking like Superman. And then of course memes came out of that. They said this water buffalo got mad at this humble water filter salesman. Why is he so angry?
Well, like Anna, what's her name?
Anna
co-host.
Oh my God.
She has not lived over that "I'm better than you" quote, and she'll never live that.
No.
I'm better than you.
She's a nutcase.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to answer a call.
You gotta take your calls, brother.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, it's only 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. here in Malaysia, so obviously I'm gonna get calls from people. Sorry about that. Yeah,
it's regular daytime where he lives. Is one of the best of us. Yeah, Malaysia.
Oh, you're in Malaysia. No, daytime. It's like what time is it here? It's like 1 o'clock up on the dot for me.
It's 3 a.m. here. Yeah,
3 a.m.
Yeah, this is about when I get going. I'm like, okay, that's
party time.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Slick. Can't you tell by my exotic accent?
I knew you were for somewhere, but my ear's not attuned to know exactly where you're from.
I honestly, like I said earlier, when I mentioned you, I honestly thought Venezuela because you sound just like a friend of mine from Venezuela.
Wow, I can't really tell where anybody's.
You pick up when you start hanging out with a bunch of damn foreigners. You start picking up on.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I
Oh,
knew more.
Oh my god!
I think I was like 9 before I met some. I think I was like friggin' 9 before I even met somebody that wasn't white or black. Like, I couldn't identify anybody.
Well,
I didn't know what
I've
anybody
traveled
was.
quite a few places, and so I usually can tell where they're from. But I've never actually been to Malaysia or Indonesia. I haven't been in those areas, so it's an accent I'm not
Well,
quite
I
as
got the
familiar
Philippines.
with. So
Yeah, slick is essentially our intercontinental.
I've been anchored here in Utah for a while now because of circumstances. But yeah, when I was younger, I went all over the place. So.
And so you're in that landlocked state, huh?
I am. Utah's a beautiful place, but it is a kind of an acquired taste.
You're represented now by the new senator from Utah, Mitt Romney.
Yeah, you know.
Good old Mittens.
We got a Democratic seat got taken though too.
Oh.
That McAdams guy.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
it's all right. Whatever.
Well, the reason the honest reason why the Republicans lost the House is because so many incumbents, like 70 incumbents, decided to retire because they thought Trump was a sinking ship. And if they stayed, they would have probably retained the control. But Yeah,
this is true. There was a lot of them that left.
Mm-hmm. I just remembered. I remember the third thing to get NPCs really, really mad at you. When especially if they got more followers than you and they quote tweet you, like they're going to own you by quote tweeting you.
Yeah.
You try to be the first response and start advertising your shit. I don't. Do you know of the person? What's her name? Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you know. There's this. It was this YouTuber and streamer named Bro Team Pill. Yeah. Yeah. One time, he said something, and she got wind of it, and she quote tweeted him. Right.
Okay.
Look at this. This is misogynistic asshole. Blah blah blah. And so he was like the first response, and he says, "Be sure to check out my Twitch and YouTube channel here at these links." The salt was amazing.
Oh my god, that's brilliant! That's fucking brilliant.
Because now you got more. Because people, their followers are going to be. So you got more eyes on it. So you might as well exploit it, right? Like, hey, check out my comic book.
I did that today with Mags. Mags is like crowing about the downfall of Comicsgate, and I went in and I complimented her and wished her well, and called her a shiny diamond, I think is what I called her. And then I said, and I have great news, and I have great news too. And then I shilled my book.
That's the way to do it.
I'm thinking she might block me or mute me after this, but that's right.
Or retweet it.
If she did, I'd be like, all right.
Hey, now I got the NPC crowd. I'm set. Right?
Well, I try to be nice to everybody, even if they do fit the definition. I try to be nice.
Like I said, my thing is
I never say anything directly to Mag. I guess that counts as being nice.
Well, I've always said if I got something to say, I'll do a screenshot of the tweet and say something. I don't like, because one thing, if you go after a check mark, they'll, that gives them easy fodder to get you, banned on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I never swear.
Every
ever.
Most type say something then, so
yeah, don't say any swear words when you're saying it either.
No, I never swear. But I did go after Joe Quesada one day. I left a pretty salty tweet for him.
You went after Joe Quesadilla?
Yeah, Quesadilla.
Before you get into that, I gotta give you a shout. I gotta give you a shout out from Mecca. He says you're a better man than he is. Mecca Studios.
Mecca's an all right cat, man. I like him.
Yeah, Mecca's cool, my boy.
And also, my number one troll, Raven, is in the chat. Also,
Pope Raven,
Pope Raven, my number one troll. Christ, like, go ahead now. Sorry.
Wrong Raven, Stefan. Wrong Raven. Sorry, continue. Sorry.
That's who.
Like the only person that I quote tweeted that had a that was a check mark that had a big following probably recently would be Mark Zaid, where he
I went after him several times because he's just I don't know what he's doing. I'm trying to figure out.
I can tell you exactly what he's doing if you want to know.
Well, I think he's trying to trigger people to make an ass out of themselves. I think that's what he's trying to do.
And he wants to carry, and so he can carry that into his court case and say, "Hey, look at all these people." And see, the thing is, he's seriously an idiot because he doesn't realize that it's Texas,
right?
And a judge in Texas is going to look at like all of this stuff, and he's like, "This is stupid and has nothing to do with the case."
Right.
And even if it did, wouldn't that get himself in trouble too? Since he's basically instigating. By admission.
Isn't there a law in Texas that you can have a fist fight and like if nobody gets really super hurt, it's no big deal?
Yeah.
I mean, so
that's an awesome law.
Like you can have like a throwdown and solve it that way.
In Texas, you can also legally carry swords.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Walking around with a saber.
Yeah. I said I'm just waiting for the weeboos to go to a con or something, and they start katana fighting. Yeah.
Strap a claymore to your back and just wander around. Like you're on some sort of D&D quest.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Nothing. I'm a paladin. Some shit.
I won't lie. I won't lie. I was too cheap to be a weeb. I couldn't do all of that. I had the mindset of it, but I am a poor person. I couldn't afford to be a weeb. I couldn't dedicate myself to that
My weebiness is that I watch the clips on YouTube. That's about as far as it goes.
Highlander
Can
type
you guys
shit.
watch
Says Mecca.
that the Goblin Slayer thing? Did you guys see that?
I've heard enough about it to
I've
kind
heard
of.
of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
The Goblin Slayer.
I've heard enough about it to know that I want this.
Because it's triggering all the right people, and I think I need to watch this one day.
Yes. The triggering.
People are tripping balls over that thing.
You guys should read the comic. It's way more hardcore than anime, man. The anime actually
I figured as much.
Yeah, we're talking about like Bukaki and shit like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's in the comic. They didn't show it in the anime.
I mean, it's not like they haven't done something like that before in like Berserk or a comic got killed and all that. They're trying to pretend like this is the worst they've literally ever seen.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of hentai that's pretty crazy, man. I don't know what they're going on about.
Well, I've always said I'll just tweet Kurt Eichenwald every time.
Nobody can play.
I'll just tweet Kurt Eichenwald whenever I want a recommendation for some hentai. Say, hey, Kurt, can you hook me up with the some of that tentacle stuff?
Just gotta mine his expertise.
I always liked when that came out, and then Tucker Carlson did it at the end of his show one night. He says he had a tab open to hardcore cartoon internet pornography.
Hey, it's hentai and it's art.
I know, but it was just the way he said it. I laughed so hard. I was like, I've never thought that I would.
Yeah, it's like, dude, Japanese are weird, man. I mean, I used to went out with a Japanese woman once here, and it's I mean, she's not weird. She's normal, but she did tell me, but she told me about a lot of stuff in Japan that are just weird for outsiders. It's like
the Japanese are strange. There is I watched a show on the History Channel when the History Channel used to be actually history, and they had a show called The History of Sex, which is and they kind of went into it, and so they on two of the shows I remember them talking about it. They did one on the history of pornography, going up from ancient drawings, and then the Pompeii. They had pornography around the brothels. all the way up into modern day pornography. In modern day pornography, it's like an 8 billion, at least at the time, it was like an $8 billion industry, and half of that was made in Japan. And then, yeah, so like half the world's porn is made in Japan. And then the other thing was the reason why they have like the pixelization. Have you ever wondered why there's so much of that? Because if you go back to their wood cutting, carving, and then like their toll painting that they did, it's very graphic, stuff, like just, in fact, they exaggerate like the vaginas and the penises as they're joined in relationship to the actual people in the pictures. And then about the time they got opened up by the United States, but they came in, Admiral Byrd came into the Tokyo Harbor and basically said, we're opening you up right now. And they didn't have any guns to fight with the Americans. And so they had to open up. But at the time, they wanted to start militarizing and industrializing after that happened. And they wanted to model themselves after the British. And at the time, that was the Victorian era, which was fairly repressed. And so because they wanted the British to come in, and the British didn't like all the pornography, they put the kibosh on it. And so over the last century, that was what happened, is they pixelated everything. And by doing so, by not showing normal sexuality, they got all this weird fetish shit come up, like, showing they couldn't show any pubic hair, so you could show pubic hair with breasts.
They couldn't
But they could show like a little girl, all right? Or you could show them being raped by like tentacles and like monsters and shit, but not a man. You can have a man having sex, but you could have them being raped and all this weird shit grew out of that repression of just normal sexuality. And so that's why we have Japanese weirdness.
Japan has the most bizarre double standards I've ever seen.
Yeah. You look at like Japanese shit, you're just like, what the fuck?
And unfortunately, it's so deep in their culture now. That's why they have one of the lowest birth rates in the world.
I know. It's just there's some weirdness going on there that's become endemic, and they're paying people over there to have children.
Oh yeah.
Wow, they need help.
And also, and also from what I heard from the one that I met with, was that one of the reasons is that a Japanese woman prefers foreigners because they feel that foreigners are more loving, because they feel that the Japanese men are too workaholic. They're too focused on work to give too much time to their partners, apparently, and that's why they kind of prefer. Again, I'm not sure how true it is, because it's just hearsay. I heard from what other people are saying, but yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Well, God, I hope that's the truth.
There was a foreign exchange student here when I was in my 20s that she was a little young for me when I was 25, but like she was hanging out with one of my friends, their family, and so we went out to do this thing, and oh my gosh, she was so forward. I couldn't believe it. She was on my lap squirming around, and I'm just like, you're 17, please get off of me.
Oh, no, yeah, no, actually, Slick. You want to know why she's so forward with you? You want to know why? Because the Japanese age of consent is 14.
Well, and again, I mean, she's in my country, and I was like, holy shit,
I know. Disturbing. And also, their age of consent for marriage is 16. So, yeah. So they can be a bit because they kind of they can do it younger. So yeah, they can be a bit forward. I
suppose, but it was very obvious that if I'd wanted to do something with her, it would have been very easy. And I was just like, and like if I'd been like 17, I would have been all over that shit. But
no. Just asking for trouble.
Yeah, why can't I ever be nice with them like that?
Go to Japan. They are very friendly in Japan. He's right. Yeah. They are.
Like I said, I'm maybe after I become a famous great.
If you go to Japan, act polite and nice. I mean, they'll give you a lot of leeway for not knowing like Japanese stuff, like we're gaijin, and so they won't. They'll give us leeway. because you will make mistakes in their culture. And they have a very stratified kind of rules and politeness. But do not act like that Paul guy, Jake Paul or whatever the fuck his
No,
name
no, no,
was.
no. Don't
Oh
act
my
like that.
Oh God,
gosh,
no,
dude!
not,
I
not
was mortified for our country when he was over there. I was like, oh my God, dude, fuck me.
And not just for
yeah,
not
all
just
the
for
people.
Japan, actually, for any Asian country. For any Asian country, don't do what Paul did. Just
Yeah, Logan Paul's one is what I was talking
Mhm.
about.
yeah. And one more thing that you have to understand about us Asian, right, is that we don't say what we mean. We're like in the Western world, you guys are very straightforward. You let's like you
Yeah.
want something, you say it. No, not for us. We have to kind of skirt around the subject, which which is a bit
So
the reason they say is because it's to be polite, but to me it's just I don't know why we're just like that.
The one thing I noticed is they had a like sarcasm is you got to be careful with sarcasm
oh
Mhm.
yeah, I was meaning to
because
ask about that.
well the thing is like I've read stuff about especially Japanese when they come here they say when somebody says something that's opposite of what they it seems like they're supposed to mean they're probably using sarcasm so just laugh and you know I mean because their sarcasm is like I'm talking about Japan I wouldn't know anything about Malaysia but they say like for example the word you like as in you are you know there's a whole bunch of levels to you, you know, so down to a baby you, all the way to the emperor. And then if you use like the emperor you with somebody who is not the emperor, it's like a really bad insult. It's like saying you're acting above your station, so you're being like a complete asshole. And it is
Ah,
sarcasm, but it's like fighting word sarcasm, you know. Whereas we use sarcasm, and especially in the Anglosphere, much more elastically as opposed to it being like just biting. And
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. From somebody in Malaysia, do you pick up on our sarcasm? Okay.
Yeah, and no, actually, it's kind of similar in Malaysia in that we consider sarcasm to be very rude. It's like we consider it to be uh, to be very impolite to be
Uh-huh.
sarcastic to someone. In fact, one of the reasons why I tend to get into trouble a lot is because I grew up watching a lot of American pop culture, and I
Yeah,
kind of picked up on the
Now,
sarcasm. Yeah, so I get into trouble a lot
yeah.
with some of the older people. Yeah,
And
so yeah.
sarcasm is very it is part of the. It's not just American. It's the Anglosphere. Anywhere that speaks
Mhm.
English uses sarcasm, and that's one of the other thing. The other side, the NPCs, the social justice warriors, they tend to have a problem with sarcasm. They use it all the time against the people they don't like, but they hate it when people use it on them. Um,
Yes.
and again, a lot of our sarcasm is just playful banter. We're not being terribly ripping, you know. Um,
Yeah.
you want to meet some ripping sarcasm, go meet like high class English people. They will do a sarcastic thing with like a twist of their lips and one word, and holy shit.
Yeah, and it really cuts you deep. Yeah,
Yeah,
and yeah,
and
no, go ahead. No.
I mean, like the thing is they don't use it all the time. It's only when they want to really. It's very cold. You can feel it off of them, and they'll say something just you know, and you'll be like,
Yeah,
whoa, and
it's
they
like
don't do they do it
what
with
just
Americans.
happened?
They usually you know they'll say something like you know. Uh, the colonies or something like that, you know, and it's just like, oh fuck you.
Yeah. And you can feel the hatred like just seeping from the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, so it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned about how the Japanese have different levels for you, right? And
Hmm.
again, I think it's similar for a lot of Asian countries. I mean, like even for us, Malaysia, like
Hmm.
for me, for example, I or me, we have different level for that as well. Like if I say aku, that's rude. I can only say that to someone of this like of the same level as me. Like if
Oh,
I'm, for example, if I'm talking to you, someone older, I cannot say aku. That's rude. You can like slap me for that. I need to say saya. That is polite.
wow.
Yeah,
See,
we have
that is
that.
not about the only thing we have here is like sir and ma'am. And those are honorifics, where and if
Yeah.
but some like older people were like, I'm not sir, I'm not ma'am, I'm, it's just,
Yeah, you
'cause,
call the wrong old lady ma'am, and she'll be like, nah. She'll get
"Man, why you
upset
calling me
about
ma'am?
it.
Do I look old?"
Yeah.
And we're just like,
Yeah,
okay.
that was just how I was raised. I always refer to a lot of strangers by
Dude,
sir.
we
It's a force of habit.
I mean, dude, we have a lot of honorifics, man. Abang, kakak, pakcik, makcik, datuk, nenek, all for different levels.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, we don't have a whole lot of English does not have a whole lot of rules that it sticks to. It's just anything that really has been there in the past is slowly kind of deteriorating. And in fact, I think it might be a bad thing. We're going all the way towards this just weird state of being pronouns and weirdness like that, where you're like, you don't know what to call them anymore because somebody might get upset. You call them a he or she, and then like, I am not. Wait, you're assuming my gender? Okay.
Well, eventually, just say hello, person. How are you doing?
Exactly. Everybody will
Yeah.
just be person. Hey, person.
Hello,
How
good
are you?
person. How are you today?
I remember George Carlin had a bit about that. He says you can't call it a manhole cover; you got to call it a person hole cover. He went through this whole thing of like anything that had man in front of it, and he says, and then of course we can all bitch about it and watch watch Late Night with David Letterperson.
That's glorious.
I miss
one of our missed and beloved greats, George Carlin.
Fucking him and Sam Kinison and jeez, man, I miss those guys. You guys don't remember Sam Kinison, do you?
Oh, I remember Sam Kinison. I remember one of the best bits I have ever heard him do. He was on the piano and he says, "I just want to, I want to dedicate this to the girl that I left behind. I hope you all enjoy it." He's playing the piano, real pretty, really pretty melody, and all of a sudden, "I hate you, whore."
What?
He was renowned for his screaming.
Yeah.
And those were like, again, both of those guys took risks, like we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to take a risk, and then they were willing to tell truth in the risk, and that's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
People are afraid of
just
truth.
Yeah. Shame.
Do they have in Malaysia? Do they have things like stand-up comedy? Is that a thing?
Yeah. It's a thing here, but a lot of our comedy are slapstick humor. We don't do a lot of like those witty one person standing on a stage, right, like sharing their experience and stuff like that. We don't do that. It's mostly slapstick and sketches and stuff like that.
Oh, so kind of like vaudeville, old vaudeville stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Play me off, Johnny.
I'm surprisingly good at random instrumental music.
I remember I was listening to this talk show from Denmark, and it was all in Danish, but I was reading it, and holy shit, he was ripping into the Swedes for all the problems they have up there with immigration and stuff. He was just tearing into them. So damn funny, and I mean that's me reading it, but the thing is, you could tell by his inflection, he was just apparently. Well, I'm Danish, all right, so my family's Danish, but I don't speak any Danish, but all the Danes I've ever known are a bunch of smartasses, a bunch of pranksters, and me included. But you get
you're saying you're saying the Danes are a bunch of meme lords? Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah, they fuck around with people. And even so much as they had the cartoons that they did the Muhammad cartoons that everybody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they had the balls to do the Muhammad cartoons, and they stop them. But you get up in the Norwegian, and I've been up there. Norway, they have a humor, but they're very stoic. And then the Swedes are they're not stoic. They're more they're kind of offish, and they have a slight I'm trying to think of a way to put it. It's a polite sarcasm, but they also get offended if you don't do it properly. Let's put it that way. And so they're kind of stuffy. And the Danes just rip into both of them. I mean, and they're all, Scandinavian. So, but the Danes are like, these guys are a bunch of fucking assholes. Just a bunch of fucking assholes. And then both of them look back and like, you're Danes. Yeah, so.
Well, they were Vikings, so.
Well, the Vikings and I think that like the Icelanders who are also Scandinavian just sit off on their island and look in they look at all of it aloofly, and you go over there though. I've been to Iceland. Iceland has beautiful people if you ever want to go there.
Really?
Oh yeah,
My people.
White people, but they're very beautiful. And they're very big. Like the men. That's a lot of them. They're very big. You're like, holy shit. You go and the Dutch are tall. They're really tall and skinny. But then you go like the Germans are tall, but they're like really they're really stoic, except when you get down to Bavaria. And then the Bavarians are like all joking around, but they don't like to be called Germans. They get really quite upset if you call them Germans, although they're part of Germany.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take y'all's words for that because I am very knowledgeable about other people.
Well, I can tell you all about Europe. I've gone all over Europe. I
don't know nearly enough people to make these kind of comparisons. I'm pretty darn sheltered, to tell you the truth.
Well, if you get a chance, I don't know how old you guys are, but if you're below 26, Europe gives you a lot of discounts before you're 26. So I advise to go there and get some time in, backpack around before they're completely overrun by the Muslims. So,
I'm 27.
Well, I gotta say,
too late.
I'm 30. I'm 39, so I guess they would just like have me executed.
no.
Like, oh, you're way past Running Man age. It's time to die.
When Logan's Run there.
Yeah, why did I say Running Man? Yeah, Logan's Run. God. It's 3:30 a.m. I'm getting my pop culture mixed up. I apologize.
That's right.
Logan's Running Man.
Yeah, Logan's Running Man. That's it. Yeah.
Like, what they're doing to Europe, man. I'm embarrassed, It's like, come on, man. These people let you come into their country, They gave you asylum. They gave you refugee status. They want to do this kind of shit. And come on, man.
Well, I mean, see, I have no problem with Muslims if they're cool Muslims. And I understand why they come. They're looking for opportunity. I get that. But when you get there and you have no jobs and you have no skills, and you have no place to stay, you're just a burden. You have to come in with something prepared. If you want to do that.
Yeah.
I can tell you, Sweden is getting hit really hard.
Yeah.
I got a friend from Sweden, and he talks about it every day. He said it's basically gotten to the point in Sweden where it's like, here are the laws except for these Muslims.
Right.
They don't have to. The laws don't apply to them.
Well, there's only like 10 million people there in the first place, and then they brought in like 1 million or 2 million. I can't remember how many they
it was a ridiculous amount to allow in.
I mean, it's like any state in the union just adding like 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
Just dropping them in. Yeah, and there's going to be problems. What are you going to do? Where are you going to put them?
Yeah.
How are you going to get them to work? How are you going to feed them? I mean, and so the rest of the country, although it's quite prosperous because it is Sweden, and they are a prosperous nation, but
I can only prosper so long in those conditions.
I think toxic altruism at this point.
Give one home and give everybody in one in Sweden one Muslim migrant to have to live with. Yeah, your shit's fucked.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as long as they're educated and
Nope.
But they're not. They're coming in unskilled labor.
And they hate the place that they live.
Right. They're coming in and they don't like a lot of. If they're a certain type of Muslim, they're going to be mad at the fact that, and it's a big mess. It's a mess.
It's a mess. I mean, you know what? I think I'm not going to say anything because we're live, and I don't want people gunning after me.
Understandable. I know where you live. So
yeah. So if we want to talk about this further later when we go offline, like I can tell you more about why it's a bad idea to let them in. I can tell you later offline. I said too much. I've said too much. I'm just gonna go.
Don't worry, don't worry.
He flew too close to the sun, and
Yeah, that's right. He's Icarus. You better be careful.
yeah, calm down.
It's haram. Look at what you infidels made me do.
Well, the thing is, I've had plenty of Muslims that I've interacted with that are cool as all get out, but they usually want to assimilate, and they usually want to keep their religion, not the focus of trying to control the culture, and that's fine. That's kind of how America is, freedom of religion that way. And if the first you want to make a theocracy, then you're at odds with our culture here.
Yep.
And in a way that's happening over in Europe, because most of those countries, here's the weird thing that people don't realize about the European Union, unless you've studied history, it's only been a recent time that they haven't been squabbling amongst themselves for the last fucking 2,000 years. I mean, Europe's been this quagmire of shifting borders and people fighting, different languages and different
alliances and
customs
treaties and all kinds of weird
constantly.
stuff.
And right down to small little principalities, fighting with much larger or placating much larger empires, and the empires fight with each other. It's been going on forever since
If you want to
empire before.
Yeah, if you want a good history of that, just play. I think it's Europa Universal, or Crusader Kings. That gives you like it's not exact, but it gives you kind of an idea of like the little shifting alliances and backdoor treaties and backstabbing and shit that happened in to Europe and
of what the politics was like, so to speak, in Europe.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and so when they talk about this thing like trying to consolidate Europe under the European Union, it's like herding cats again. It's one of those things where even like what happened to Yugoslavia if there isn't something to keep it cohesive. Italy itself was just a bunch of principalities until actually their country is not as old as our country. That way, the consolidation. They have this massive history, but the actual country of Italy isn't as old as we are, and they still have their wrangling from north to south, and Sicily itself, and over in Sardinia, each one of them has their own kind of vibe, and they don't necessarily always think of themselves as Italian. It's kind of a weird thing, they're very much about their own region, and that's the whole of Europe right now. And then you got holdouts like Norway and Switzerland who don't want to be part of it, and they have their own thing. And now the UK is, but basically, and when they became part of the UK, a lot of the UK didn't want to be part of the European Union, and it's been this sticking point, and that's why they never got on the euro. They've been on the pound because the pound is actually more stable than the euro is. It's a mess. And then again, they've brought in all these immigrants to I don't know what, because the countries were doing pretty well, even the ones that weren't doing that great. And now you just have this poor creases just get overrun, and they don't have anything, and they're being run by a bunch of socialists, and it's just going to hell. And they have riots almost every other weekend in Athens. People don't talk about it, but that they do. And they don't have any money coming in, and they're not getting floated any loans anymore from France or Germany, which is where most of the money comes from. And then they're just saying, hey, all you guys from Asia and Middle East, come on in, no problem.
It's like you don't even have enough food to feed your own family, and then you want to bring someone else into your home.
Well, I mean, the thing is like, we think of our country, and I'm talking the United States, our poorest state is still part of our state, and so there's kind of a federation that kind of takes care of it. So Mississippi, I'm not trying to bag on them, but they usually they have the poor record, but they still are, compared to the rest of the world, all of our states are doing actually pretty damn good. But we have a great economy. That's what Europe could have if they had a different system of what they're doing. And anybody's watched it, they don't have true democracy there. They're not. Their parliament is like a paper tiger. They're run by the European Commission, which none of them know. Nobody knows who's in the European Commission, and nobody is elected. So it's this kind of shadow government appointed by who knows, and that ain't good.
Holy shit! That's wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
you look into it. It's like you listen to Sargon of Akkad. I mean, you may not like some of the things he says, but he delineates a lot of it in some of his videos, and you're just like, what? He goes,
Fucking hell.
Yeah, the whole let's put it this way: the whole Brexit thing. It wasn't just like old people got fooled. No, there were legit people who were like, you know what, we want out of this, crap.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you think of when you go to Britain, what's the first thing you think of when you eat stuff? Fish and chips, right? That's British for
Right.
fish and chips.
Mhm.
Their fishing waters around there are no longer under their control. They're under the European Union's control, and so their fisheries have actually just gone. And they're being overfished by all these European fleets because they can't police their own fishing waters.
Mm-hmm.
And so a huge sector of their food and their industry has been just destroyed, and it's just all the decisions are made out of Brussels and Strasbourg, which is weird too. They have two different capitals, Brussels and Strasbourg, and the parliament shifts between those like every 2 months or something. I can't remember what the date is, but it just keeps bouncing back and forth. It's like the dumbest system possible. It's like
what?
It's like moving Washington D.C. to like Sacramento, the other side of the country.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, what's the point of the system anyway? I mean, it's so messed up.
It was economic.
It was economic.
Because these smaller quote smaller countries, they couldn't compete with Russia and China and the U.S. On their own. So they kind of combined their economies essentially to create a union.
Yeah, like a consortium of countries.
Yeah, originally it was just supposed to be for trade purposes, but then it started becoming ruling purposes too. Like,
yeah, they've been trying to get an army for a while now.
Yeah, because I think it was yesterday Macron, president of France, mentioned the European Union having an army in case, and literally said in case the Russians or the U.S. decide to invade, and Trump kind of laughed at him. Like, that's kind of cute. Like,
well, the thing with NATO is.
Why on earth do we need to invade you guys? We got everything under control here.
Most people don't realize why. I mean, Americans anyway, don't realize why NATO has worked for so long. We've paid most of it as the United States, and we've provided the military umbrella, which most of the other countries within the European Union and Europe in general don't have to pay for because NATO is there and backed by us. And so we toe the line. Now, if you want to look at a country that's thankful for that, that's Poland. Poland is wanting us to be around. They want us to be there. They honor the fact that the Americans have done a great job. A lot of the other countries are kind of balking at that now. And what happens is you get the whole nationalist thing going, which is happening. But then you get the European Union wanting to have their own standing army. Well, that would make a federation, but it also might make a really totalitarian state because, again, there is no actual democracy there that actually governs the European Union.
I'll put it this way. Do you guys really want like a huge standing army made up of many different countries that could possibly be influenced by Germany?
Yeah. Or France for that matter.
Yeah. Well, if it was France, to give up immediately, so it'd be fine. But
the French lost the flower of their nobility and fighting man when Napoleon killed everybody off in his wars.
There was, I remember it was like after, I think it was after 9/11. There was some because France was kind of balking at some of the operations we wanted to do in Afghanistan and whatnot. And so this radio host went through a whole list of military engagements the French have been in, and it was just like a string of losses. Yeah, and the only time they won was when a Corsican was the head of their government, not a Frenchman.
Well, here's the funny thing about that. Their strings of wins across the world since Napoleon have actually come mainly from the French Foreign Legion, which aren't French.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's there's a reason why people joke that the national flag of France is the white flag. Because they're they're surrendering all the time. Because what the guy, like this guy, when he ended his list, he joked at the end. He says, 9/11, 2001, talked about this, and he says and just to be on the safe side, France surrendered to Turkey. That sounds about right.
I will say one thing though. France gets a
We
bad
got
deal
in there, small poultry.
for being snotty people. But I've met some really nice French people. I'm gonna have to say that.
Yeah. I can't say I've met in my online adventures I've met a actual Frenchman from France, but I've known some folks that knew French people, and they said they're really they were nice folks.
All right.
Mostly the snooty ones are going to be like
I got
in
a
Paris
fun.
and stuff like
I got a fun French story.
Okay, go ahead.
I used to be a skateboarder, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Did
there
you-
were these dudes that
did you,
came
I-
over here from France on a tour,
Mhm.
right? They were just chilling out, trying to have fun, shoot videos for their skate team, right? Because they were like on tour in America or whatever bullshit, right? And I just so happened to have some weed, and I managed to smoke these guys from France up. And I'll tell you what, they were so impressed that there was actual weed here in America, because all they could get was whatever bullshit. They could get hash oil in France, not actual weed in America. Like it's still illegal technically here in America, but sure, I'll hang out with you guys and skateboard and have fun. They were some of the nicest guys I've ever met. They might whatever internationally be known for wimps or whatever, but those guys were fun as hell. And every single one of those guys, they were cool dudes. All they wanted to do was have fun and skateboard and goof off, kind of like what we're doing here tonight, except for smoking weed, because none of us are smoking weed this evening.
Well, to tell you the truth, in France, you can get wine pretty young. It's kind of just a thing. You can get wine young.
Yeah,
So
that's
getting
true.
drunk is not unusual. But
I
you don't
drink
see-
to that, mon ami.
exactly.
The,
But if you're gonna meet the like you said, in Paris is mostly where you're gonna find the assholes. But I've met. I'm gonna tell you a little story. I'm in Paris and I'm driving around in my rented car and I'm trying to get up to the Sacré-Cœur, which is this beautiful cathedral that's up on a hill above the Folies Bergère and the Moulin Rouge, which is like kind of a sex area, which is strange to have this big church above it. But I'm driving around trying to find it using the GPS, and I get up to this road and it says one way, and I couldn't go up there, but it's telling me to go up that road to get up to the Sacré-Cœur. I'm like, damn, what the? And there's a cafe at this little juncture, and they're closing up for the night. This is about 10 o'clock, and I'm just kind of looking at it, going, where the hell am I supposed to go? And this guy comes out and he goes, well, do you need anything? And I'm like, I'm trying to get up this road up to Sacré-Cœur. He goes, oh, just go up that road. And I'm like, it says one way. And he goes, oh no, it's just for the day when they had the bazaar. He goes, you go up there and just if anybody says anything to you, tell them Jacques told you to go this way. I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, and then as I'm kind of moving my car around, he flags me down again. He goes, are you hungry? And I'm like, I don't have time to get out. He goes, no. We have extra clear and you can have a juice. And I was like, okay. And he gives me that. And I was like, thanks. And so I wrote a Yelp for him because that was pretty damn nice. And I went up to Sacré-Cœur and I ate the stuff on the steps as these guys were smoking pot and playing guitar. So I don't know if smoking pot is something that's hard to get there because they were blazing right on the steps of the church.
Well, Ninja,
Very
I have
cool.
a very important question. Ninja, what's you said you used to skateboard?
I used to. I can't anymore. I'm too old anymore.
Yeah. Could you do a kickflip?
I could, but nobody ever saw me land one.
Oh, that's a shame. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I joke
it
about
is.
that. I joke
It's
about
the
that
worst because you it's like one of those things you're like, I can do a kickflip. Why isn't anyone looking when I did it? And then you fall the next time. The next time you do it, somebody fucking is watching and you fucking break yourself. You're like, no.
Yeah, the reason
So-
I ask is because there's this YouTube skateboarding channel that I watch. I just happened upon it one day and I was like, oh, this is entertaining, right? And what it is like people send them stuff to skate, like they'll send them like a broom.
What?
Yeah, okay, put some trucks on it and skate this broom. Yeah. One of them I think was like they took a skateboard and drove nails into it, so they had to skate on nails. Yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff.
No, I can't say that I would ever have made it as a pro or anything like that.
It was just something you like to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I have good board control, but I'm not going to try and break myself because technically when I started skating, I already had a full-time job. And when you have to go to work in the morning, being like, hey, do I want to try and ollie down this fucking set of stairs and potentially wreck the shit out of myself? Because I did that already, and I was like, well, I got to go to work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
guess I'm gonna be fucked up for work. And yeah, it was rough. Standing on one leg all day.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've seen some of the things those people do, man. Like doing 25-foot drops off stairs. I was like, you people are crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I used to skate with some really good dudes, and like the stuff they used to pull out, I was just like, yeah, I don't have time for that. I can't. I'm not gonna risk it.
Look, you're lucky I'm on the board. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're hitting this rail. I'm looking at this rail because it's like waist level. How did you even get this high off an ollie to get up here to do a tail slide down this entire rail? It's like 20 feet long. Okay, guys, I'm glad I was just kind of the guy who drove you here so I can watch this shit live. I'm not necessarily I love skateboarding. It was definitely for years one of my passions, but I'm too decrepit anymore to actually do anything more than just kind of roll around and do some ollies and manuals, and I can wheelie like a motherfucker, but yeah.
Well, how old
you
are
want
you?
Me to pull 36.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're 3 years younger than I am. Okay.
So yeah, I'm too old to do that, but too young not to want to try.
It's what's that? That's you've gotten that stage in your life. You're like you're too old and was it too old to know better? No, too old to know better and too young, still too young to give a damn, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, my kids still want me to they know that I skateboarded and stuff like that. Dad, come on, get your skateboard out. And it's like, all right. So I roll around with them a little bit, but as far as me doing any kind of tricks for them, I'm not even going to try it. I'll be like, here, put in chomp on this or Medic Madi or, yeah, right, or something like that.
Yeah, tricks are, unless you're like a professional or something for young people, because you get old, you just don't heal as quick.
No, yeah, that's a thing. After I broke my back, I was done skateboarding for reals.
Yeah, my leg's not what it once was. I had to stop skiing, which is kind of bummed me out, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it comes with age. Nothing can do about it.
I mean, I'd love to be able to still play rugby and shit, but nah. I want to be able to get up in the morning, for God's sake.
Yeah, riding a bicycle is fucked up now.
Yeah, I'm riding a bicycle. That's enough. You ride like a mile, and you're like, I better not go any farther. That was fun. Like there was a time when I'd get on a bike and I'd ride I live in like Provo area in Utah, and then you can ride up the canyon to like a place called Heber. That's like 28 miles. I did that one day just for the hell of it. And then I rode back. That's like almost 60 miles. And I was fine. I think about that. I'm like, how the hell did I do that? And that's going up a canyon and then back down a canyon.
When you're old, I was going to say, when you're old is when you go to sleep, right? Go to bed and you wake up, and when you go to wake up, you pull a muscle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. You wake up and you're like, you go to stretch and oh shit. Oh,
Yeah, you're like, oh,
fuck.
God, oh God.
All these younger guys are like, what are these guys talking about?
Yeah, your days are coming. Your days are coming, lads. Your days are coming. Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
You'll hit the wall and you'll be like, damn, those guys were right.
Mhm. Like you'll wake up, and next thing you know, you pulled a muscle in your abdomen. You're like, what? How did this happen? You know, like I didn't even do anything. I literally like rolled over in bed. What the?
And then there'll be the days you go to bed and you feel just fine, and then you wake up the next morning, you're like, why the hell does this hurt?
Yeah.
What is this hurting for? What did I do? And you're like looking back over the last 2 days. When did I like strain this at all? And there's nothing. You're just old.
I think the funniest thing happened to a friend of mine. He sneezed and threw his back out.
That's just not funny, but it is.
You know, it's hilarious. We make fun of him for I'm still. It's like, hey, remember that time you sneezed and threw your back out?
The heart caused him a spasm.
And as you're laughing, you throw your back out.
Exactly. I laughed too hard and like threw my back out. I was like, oh God. We're both like in the hospital. It's like, hey man.
Now, one of these young guys are going to be one of those bastards that nothing happens. They just age really well, like fucking fine wine.
Yeah, but they'll look like
old, like they're like 90 years old, like skip roping and that sort of shit. And you'll be like, what? You suck, man.
yeah, they'll be 90 years old, look like they're maybe 50. Like
Like the Jack LaLanne guy from the juicing commercials.
Yeah, no kidding. What the hell with that guy?
that guy. There's two ways to look at it. He either like that juicing shit is really good, like it really does benefit, or he was on so much coke, he literally preserved himself.
Yeah.
Considering the time frame, I'm going with the coke. In my opinion, that's just my opinion.
I just did too many stupid things. I beat the shit out of myself. I played too many sports and ran around too much and just fucked around.
Yeah, my dumb stuff was never like organized sports. It was like playing, just playing with the lads kind of thing. It's like, hey, let's play some basketball. Break my fingers. Like.
It can have an effect on you when you get older. Yeah. Older,
I think the worst thing that ever happened to me was like one day I was we had an ATV and we only had one, and me and my dad were going out to the woods, and I had to ride on the back, and I went to get on, and he said, are you ready? And I said, okay. He thought okay meant go. And I wasn't fully on, and I flipped back, and we were still on concrete, and I hit the back of my head on the concrete.
Oh, shit.
I didn't get knocked out. But I did get loopy, right?
You must have a hard head, dude.
Oh, yeah, I got a very hard head. My dad always said, so you hard-headed rascal.
No, go on.
So that happened. So went to the doctor, and they did X-rays, and they says, well, he might have a minor concussion, but nothing to really worry about. Just take it easy, kind of thing. So 2 days later, I'm back at school and playing flag football. I shouldn't have been playing football, but I was, and I was trying. For some reason, I had if anybody's played sports, I had literally one of those Emmitt Smith runs where nobody could touch me, right? And so I'm taking off, and it's just flag football, and I'm stiff arming and stuff like that. You ain't get my flag, And this guy, he was the fastest guy on the other team, and he almost caught up to me, and I was trying to sidestep him. And when I sidestepped him, I flipped. I got my feet got tangled up, and I landed on my head again. And that time I was like, I didn't get knocked out again. I just like, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna sit down.
I've never been knocked out. But as far as concussions go, the worst concussion I ever got, I was skateboarding, right? And when you're skateboarding at a park, it was a smaller park, right? It was this little indoor park, and a buddy of mine was like, "Yo, let me try your board," right? And he took a run, and he was like, "Oh, your board's pretty sweet." And he was like, "Yeah, want to try mine out?" I was like, "Okay." Right, but I used to ride bigger wheels, and he had tiny wheels. So I went to go roll off the end of the ramp, right? But his board being had tiny wheels, it stuck at the top of the ramp.
Mhm.
I went all the way down. This is maybe a good 7-foot ramp. Landed head first right into the fucking pavement. And
No wonder you wear that mask.
Damn.
it knocked the wind out of me, but it didn't knock me out. And I was like, oh shit, those were some tiny wheels, because I knew exactly why I stopped. And I looked up and I couldn't see right. It was like I had tunnel vision. And I was like, oh yeah, let me go sit down for a sec. I didn't lose consciousness at all. But I'll tell you what, it took a while for that tunnel vision to stop.
Yeah.
Also, I was looking at the chat just a second ago, and I got to give shout outs to Pope Raven, and Pope Fire wants me to say,
Oh god.
Tree Fitty, because Loch Ness Monster owes me Tree Fitty, just so that Pope Fire theme can.
Man, you telling me that you tree fitted, man? Come on, man, you gotta go get that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? We need to roll. We need to roll on them guys, man. Let's go.
We need that Tree Fitty.
You reminded me. That reminded me of it was those text messages you get sometime when like you go over your data limit.
Yeah.
And it'll say like you're gone over data limit. You're going to be charged $15 for another gig of data or whatever. And like I said, I don't know how real this was, but it said like AT&T like that. And the guy texted because it says you don't need to text back, but this guy texted back and said fuck you, and then he got a response back, said, motherfucker, this is my job. You coming up in here and telling me what? And he said, and the guy, and he responded back and he said, I'm sorry, man. Damn. He said, bitch ass square up. When you get that guy on the other side of the line who's just doing his job and he's talking shit, and he's like, oh, you know what? I could just cut you off. What do you think of that? You ain't got no data. How do you like that?
I used to work at a call center. I can understand.
Yeah. If anybody's worked any customer service or call center stuff, it's like, you know what? I ain't got to put up with this.
Yeah. Customers can be like monsters, man. They can be horrible.
I remember I used to work for a phone company in the repair center. And this guy he called me and he laid into me. I didn't know who this fool was. And he was talking all kinds of shit. He talking about my mama.
What?
And I said, and the thing is, I just answered the phone, and he just got blah blah going off and talking all this shit. And I said, "Well, sir, what's your problem? My cable isn't working." I said, "This is the phone company." Oh, and they hung up.
That reminds me of my own experience when I went to McDonald's one day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the guy forgot my nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my brother, he's a little bit hot-headed, so he was like, "I want to go in there, I want to yell at the guy." I was like, "No, you know what? Just stay in the car and let me go in." So I went in there. So I talked to the guy all polite and shit, right? Like, hey, excuse me, we ordered this, you forgot, and I ended up getting 2 boxes of nuggets.
Yeah, so you got to hook up because you're not nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes to show, just be nice to people.
Yeah.
You be nice to people. They appreciate that, especially when they're working like this, like customer service kind of shit. Like having to face all of this crap all day.
Mm-hmm.
They appreciate someone being nice.
Yeah, I mean, I know anytime like I go to a drive-through or something, I say, thank you. I say thank you. Have a good day. Like because they need it more than I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like funny, like this is one of the funnier McDonald's stories. You brought up McDonald's, so I had to think about this. It was one of those bad customer service things, right? My friends ordered something, and there was like some of the sandwiches weren't in the bag, right? And so the wife, she goes back and she said, "I'll take care of it." She goes back in. Well, you're gonna have to bring the bag back. She said, "Okay." And at that point, she's pissed.
Okay.
So she's like, I was like, so okay. So she goes and tells her husband, says, "Give me the bag." take everything out of the bag and give me the bag. Right. And so she walks in with an empty bag. Says, "Here's the damn bag." now put my damn Big Mac in there.
Did she know how funny that would be in the end?
You're right.
I'm sorry, dead air because of hilarity.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Oh God, that was perfect. Oh, I hope the rest of the people watching this are laughing as hard as I am. Oh, because that was great. Oh God, yes. You take the empty bag in.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Here's the damn bag. Now put some Big Macs in.
That's nice.
Yeah. Speaking of that friend, this, I don't know what, I heard some of y'all say you got kids and stuff. This story, I laughed so hard when my friend told me this, because he's got 2 kids. He's got a son and a daughter, and the daughter's the younger one. She's like 3, and the other one's like 5. And they were playing one day, and like the little girl, all of a sudden she walks up to her brother who's sitting down and farts right in his face. and she's laughing her ass off. And my friend's like, "You shouldn't do that. That's not nice." He's like laughing himself because it was like hilarious. And this kid, and the boy, he's just like, "Ah!" He's like, "Get it off, get it off."
That's funny because my kids have done the same thing.
I said, "I can't believe her name is the little girl's name Lily." I said, "So you tell me Lily the crop dusted Eli? Is that what happened?"
Fucking hell! There's something that happened with my kid sister. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think she was around 5 at that time. I think my half sister actually. And what happened was that I was at my parents' house and they were having dinner, and my stepmother told me to call the sister in to have dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to her and she was like, she was sitting on the floor, playing around with the crayons, with the coloring book, and I went to her, I was like, I was calling up to her, hey, come on, it's time for dinner. Come on, let's go to the kitchen. And she was like, she was being a kid, she was like, no, she don't want to stop playing with the crayons. And I was like, come on, let's go to the kitchen and have dinner. Come here, let me pick you up, right? And you know what she did? She threw her crayon to the floor. She stood up, looked at me, and she said, "No, I picked myself up." And she walked and she marched straight into the kitchen. And I was just standing there like, what the fuck? It's like, holy shit.
You're standing there like, did my little sister just flex nuts on me?
We're like 5 years old. She was like, "No, I picked myself up." I was like, what the fuck? Oh god. I hope she doesn't turn into a feminist.
Oh yeah. Then you just beat her. It'll be fine.
Oh god.
Yeah, you got to put the women in their place, man. You got to, you got to respect the hierarchy.
Oh my god!
I shouldn't say that because if Pope fires, I know that's I know she's a female, and I apologize for being. I'm sorry about insulting women.
Get that misogyny in place, brother.
Yeah, I gotta. There's a time and a place, and that's hanging out with the boys.
I think sometimes we forgot that we're live.
Yeah.
We're not in a private chat. Just
my kids are technically sleeping, and this is something my son said to me the other day. I was like, because he was watching YouTube, and I was like, you could watch Your Friendly Neighborhood Ninja, right? And he's like, yeah, but your voice always puts us to sleep.
Man, that is you never recover, man. You just need to close the channel down right now.
Oh my god!
Oh man, that you reminded me. I just got reminded of another story. I think y'all will love this one. friend of mine, the same friend. They have this German Shepherd. He's a good dog. He's a good dog, but he does some dumb shit, right? He likes to like play around, and if you ever had a big dog, they get kind of what you call it. They get a little rambunctious, and they don't realize how big they are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was like playing around one day, and he bit my friend on his wrist, right?
Okay.
And he got mad, and he got mad and stood up like and he goes, "I'm gonna kick your fucking ass," like that. And then, but the best part, his 5-year-old, the little boy, runs into the room. "No, Daddy, don't kick his fucking ass." He said at that point, he said, "I can't scold him because I said it, and he just repeating what I said, and I'm laughing my ass off because that was funny."
Oh god.
Oh man.
Oh, kids, man. It's like,
Kids will drive you crazy, but they're fine. I'm like,
at least until they reach a certain age, and then they'll just drive you crazy.
Yeah. Then you just throw them in jail.
Only one of mine is in their teen years, and yeah.
Yeah. Have you thought you're going to have to run hands? Like,
yeah.
Like-
Well, there's sometimes where you just be like, "What is wrong with you?
mhm.
Stop talking. Do
Yeah.
you not know your place? Do you not know that you're a teenager?
Mhm.
Please stop."
I had a moment like that when I was young, and my dad's a big fella. He's like 6'5", 250. So he ain't no small lad. And one time he said, "You keep on." I'm like 15 at this time. I'm thinking I'm badass, And he said, "You keep on. You're gonna get a whooping." And I said, "You can." And I'm thinking, I'm laughing at him. I said, "You think you're gonna spank me?" He said, "I didn't say nothing about spanking."
No shit.
He said, "You don't understand. I will whoop your ass." He said, "No, I mean I will take my ham hocks and put it on your face." I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I'm like, I'm sizing this up, and I'm like, "I don't want none of this. I don't want none of this." I was like, "Yes, Father." But when your dad threatens to kick your ass, you're kind of like, so you kind of have a second thought. You're like, okay, yeah, I need to calm down.
It's like immediately, yes, Father.
Yeah, yes, Father. Yeah, no, not dad or daddy or anything like that. It's like, yes, Papa. You're like,
like my dad. Yeah, you're right. He actually came from a rural part of Malaysia, and he actually speaks Malay with an accent. Actually, yes, he actually has an accent which he kind of got rid of when we moved into the city and he started working in the city, right? So a good way to tell if it's really mad, when he reverts back to the accent, then oh shit, he mad, daddy mad. Then you just keep your mouth shut and do whatever he says.
Yeah, my dad, if he ever says, "I'm going to tell you one damn thing,"
No shit.
that's the key. Okay, he's mad enough now. So yeah, that's the key. When he says, "I'm going to tell you one damn thing," oh, okay, I'm gonna go over here because somebody about to get in trouble.
Fucking hell! What time is it?
It is. Well, here is 4:09. The Formula 4:09 in the morning.
It's 5:08 p.m.
We have 10 watchers right now, and they really need to slam that white like button.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, we need y'all understand the like. The likes help the metrics. The metrics. Get it boosted up. And
It's true. Maybe one day this channel will be monetized, and everybody will get a little bit of the profits.
yeah.
Because if I had more money, I'd be supporting more people on Patreon. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
Yeah, same here.
the more you help these metrics, the better.
It is. It's basically just a go around of support.
Mhm.
Really.
It's,
Pope Raven says she's disliking.
oh wow. It's
Thanks, Pope.
That's counterproductive, but okay, it's your right, you know. I'm gonna do an Optimus Prime impression. Freedom is your right.
There's a right of all sentient creatures.
But Raven is Grill.
You're welcome. What
It says Grill.
yes.
I will slay the vampire lord Dimitri. Wrong franchise.
Yeah.
I don't remember that episode.
So what's
Now, making a joke about the Darkstalkers cartoon they had, and one of the characters was voiced by the guy who did Optimus Prime's. What is it?
I
really?
remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
Vampire
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Slayer.
I also remember that what the Fishman was always like. You know, they always talked about how handsome he was. He's like, you are
strangely handsome.
you are strangely handsome for a fishman. Like,
And he'd always be like, okay, thank you.
exactly.
Like he would always be the one weirded out by that the most.
Man, 20 alts.
Thanks, I'm handsome.
20 alts, that'd be enough to get a community takedown, right?
I have no idea how the algorithm works on YouTube. It's weird for me.
It wouldn't take much.
He's like, oh no, I lost all 73 of my subs. I shouldn't, and I'm saying that tongue firmly in cheek because my channel currently only has 9. So
It might be more than that now because I just subscribed.
oh, thank you.
So now you can make it an even 10.
Yeah.
I think it just started subs.
I see.
I realized that I wasn't. I was like, what?
What you did? Oh yeah, you subscribe. Oh, okay, I see what you did. See, I have my channel that was like my gaming channel. You know, just me. And let me give you the link to the other one because this is where I would get the even 10. Here's the oh god, Chrome, I hate you. Here we go. Okay, there you go. That's the link in the chat. Yeah, for the graded 0.5 channel. Yeah.
Oh, it's spelled 0.5.
Yeah. I bet you were looking for. It's like, where's this channel?
Yeah, and all I got is all these ballet videos. I don't know why. Grade 5 ballet, barre, grade 5 center. I don't know why. I don't know why. What the fuck?
Optimus, what's your Twitter?
At Optimus Deadpool.
Yeah, I think your name says Chief Justice of Comics or something.
Well, Chief Justice Optimus. Yeah, the gimmick. I said the gimmick's now going to be the Chief Justice of Comics. I'm bringing Law and Order to comics.
Just posted the link for your channel.
All right. Appreciate that. Anybody who wants to, hit that subscribe button, it'd be greatly appreciated. Should be starting to do should be doing regular content soon in the next couple weeks. Because, like I said earlier, Marvel and DC are dead to me. So it's time to support these new creators. We got to do it.
It's true. That's what I've been about for quite a while now, is supporting our independent creators, such as our honored guest, Slick Jimmy, who has an amazing product coming out here called Little Girl Lethal. And
that's where I've seen. Okay, yes, I was like, I know this name. I've seen him around. I was like, who is he?
We were on for 3 hours.
Yeah,
you only got it now.
Because I had seen him in other streams, right? That's what I was like. I'd seen the icon. That's what got me. I saw the icon. I'm like,
oh my god.
Yeah, that's Sugar Lightspeed. That's her.
And then you said Little Girl Lethal. I was like, that's it.
Little Girl. Yeah. Yeah, that's my book.
It's like when you meet someone and you don't want to admit that you forgot their name, and you keep trying to remember. It's like, hey, guy. It's kind of like,
hey,
you.
I knew
There
you.
you go.
Yeah, it
Do you
looks
know
like
me?
yeah, Little Girl Lethal, 96% funded, almost there. 18
Yeah.
days to go.
I got
Yeah.
$1 off of 97. We'll see what happens in the morning. But I'm pretty sure we'll hit the goal here in a couple days.
And then you can move on to those delicious stretch goals.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that'll help me move up a little bit. But
Do you think you're going to extend the campaign at all, or are you going to cut it off?
Depends on. Let's put it this way: if I move up pretty well and hit close to or over another stretch goal, then I will extend. If I don't, if it just kind of slows down to a crawl, then probably I won't, because I don't want to waste the time on there.
Well, I did hear this from other people, is if you can extend it, you might as well, because it's just that much extra that you can give to whatever merchandise. And that's just, I think it was from Jim Healis that I heard that. I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, like I said, unless I probably will extend. It's just if I get to a crawl, if I'm on the last day and it doesn't have another spike, how sometimes it has when you get to the last, then I'll know that probably I've hit my limit. But if it spikes at the end and people seem to want it and want more time, then maybe I'll do that.
Now I remember it was Edwin. That's where
Edwin.
I saw your project on his stream.
Yeah, Edwin helps me quite a bit. He's a mensch. I like that man.
Yeah, because when he was going over, he says, "Oh, we got Little Girl Lethal. Little Girl Lethal. Oh, there's some cheesecake. There's some cheesecake.
There's some cheesecake. Yeah.
There's some cheesecake here. Yep, definitely cheesecake." I like Edwin. He's a good.
He is. I love that dude.
Yeah, he's
God,
a great guy.
and his voice, man, his voice is just...
He reminds me of a sober Sam Elliott. And then, because Sam Elliott always sounds like he's drunk.
This is where Edwin Boyette came from. Is Magnum PI and Sam Elliott had a child.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
That is surprisingly accurate.
It's funny because they Tom Selleck and Sam Elliott they've done movies together and stuff, so it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
They did the Sackets together back in the day. That Lewis Ward.
Yeah, well, that's where Edwin Boyette was born. Is between their love child.
Is he Tennessee? I think he's from Tennessee. Right?
It's sound that that accent sounds very Tennessee-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's living in Hawaii right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he is from Tennessee. He's somewhere in the South. I know that for sure.
Yeah, that's Sam Elliott's one of the for my Discord. We when we talk, it's like I do a Sam Elliott impression. It's like it's like, listen here, you cuck some bitch.
Yeah, Sam Elliott's. I mean, he's got a great voice.
Yeah, it's like that really deep. Like, I'm gonna kill you and everybody you know.
Chevy truck. Or is it Ford Tough? I don't remember.
It was Ford, yeah. It built Ford Tough.
Sure, real there. Work on
See, you possess the spirit of vengeance.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. Sam Elliott was the ghost in the Ghost Rider movies.
Yeah, he was the actual riding the horse guy.
Hell yeah!
Also, he was the classic Ghost Rider.
I would have been happier if he had actually been the Ghost Rider on the motorcycle. I didn't like Nick Cage in that at all, but that's just me.
Well, that was like, did you know Nick Cage begged for that role? Like,
he did?
Yeah. Of course, Nick Cage begs for any role, but
somebody should have denied him that role and got some ginger that would have been proper for Johnny Blaze.
It was so weird because he was he was so old in that movie, and like the what's her name? I forgot her name. Yeah. The girl, she was so young. I was like, this doesn't make any sense at all.
Plus, they had no chemistry either. That was the thing. Like the ones that played the young characters, the young Johnny Blaze and whatever the hell her name was. Yeah. They had good chemistry, and then they grew up, and you're like, well, damn, it's like they're just staring at each other like they're wood planks.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I did like the Ghost Rider in the film when they had him blazed up. He looked great.
Mm-hmm.
But,
So,
did you guys see the second film? That freaking
Spirit of
Fire.
Vengeance. Yeah,
God,
I will say
Actually, not
I did like the Ghost Rider infused backhoe. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was all right.
For moments, it had a cool moment here and there, but other than that, you know.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I wish they'd approach that one again and do it properly, get the right kind of actor, and then
You know what was a good one? Was that Punisher Warzone?
I see. I hear people hate that film, and I think it's the best one that's ever been made.
All
And
the
it was
Punishers?
And it was
Yeah.
done by that Lexi Alexander, who's such a freaking flaming feminist. But man, she just pulled off. And people say it's too campy. It's all this other stuff. Just it's badass. It's balls to the wall. It's over the top. Just like Punisher should be.
Yeah, it was definitely. It made me be like, yeah, that's the guy. That guy played a good Punisher too, like just tough.
What Ray?
And all he did was just fucking Ray Stevens.
Yeah, Ray
Stevens,
come in and fucking punish like he should have. The first two Punishers, though, the Dolph Lundgren one was good. The Tom and Jane one was okay.
I liked him as Punisher. I liked Thomas Jane as the Punisher. But the script, the ending, the denouement at the very end, and like John Travolta was not used as the biggest badass as he could be. He just ended up being like this piss poor weak character at the very end who got tricked into like this weird thing. Like the Punisher does this weird playing with his head. And then there's that whole thing with like his roommates and all that shit with the weird couple of those guys and their thing. And Rebecca, what's her name? I'm just like, what was all that about? It was just like a waste of time. And then they set these assassins at him, and then they get whacked really quickly. The one thing I loved about Warzone is you had Jigsaw, and then Looney Bin Jim, and those are characters that I've seen in the comics, and they did them perfect.
Yeah, and I know the funny thing about the Thomas Jane Punisher. Have you guys seen the short that they released after the movie?
That was great.
Yeah, that was better than the actual movie.
Oh man, I was like,
that.
Yeah.
Oh dude, look at
I've seen that.
It kicks ass.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube actually.
It was basically they were trying to do a proof of concept, like hey, maybe if we made like a cool Punisher, like it should be done, kind of thing.
Brutal Punisher.
Yeah, brutal Punisher. Yeah. It was kind of like like they did with the when they did the proof of concept for Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
And if they had done it like that with Thomas Jane, I would have been all over that. Because I said, Thomas Jane was just fine as the Punisher. Just a way that then they set it in like Tampa for some fucking reason.
Yeah, and then they make him like a former like FBI agent or something instead.
Yeah, that was weird. That it wasn't set where Punisher lived. Like I didn't understand.
The Punisher's always based in New York. Yeah, it's like and he was like, and his whole thing he was going to be a priest. Or not a minister. A minister. He was going to be a minister. Yeah.
I did not know that about the Punisher. Really?
Yeah. That the whole thing. Like he went to war. He went off to war. He was. I think it was like might have been Vietnam. Yeah, he was in Vietnam. He comes back, and he was going to like settle down with his family and become a minister, right? And then then the mob murdered his family, and that's what started the whole Punisher thing. Yeah.
Oh shit! That made it a lot more tragic. Shit.
Yeah. A man who wanted peace, and now he's just going to, go to town.
Yeah, came back from war. All he wanted was peace, and it was not able to be found.
And so he
the war came with him.
There's a whole arc, Punisher and Nam, that they had way back, and it was really good actually. It's quite well done, and there's a lot of backstory for Punisher that they haven't explored, and I think they're afraid of him because maybe it's just he's too toxically masculine now. I don't know.
One of the cooler Punisher moments, like from recent years, when remember when Marvel did the whole combining the universes, combining, the main Marvel with with the Ultimates. Yeah. They had this last little scene. All the villains had gotten together and were like, basically celebrating the end of the world kind of thing. Because like, there's nothing that can happen to us now. Well, okay, they all came into one place. So who's going to show up? Of course. He's like, it's maybe the end of the world, but today is Christmas.
His nihilism came into play right there.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I put a tweet in the chat here. This is me making amends for not knowing who Slick was.
Wait,
I don't
what?
expect everybody know what I am.
It's just bad to talking to you for 2 hours, and it's like, I kept looking at your avatar is what struck me. I was like, I know that from somewhere.
Oh, they say that's the prettiest girl with a deep voice they've ever heard. That's what I heard on one stream.
That's good.
I was all right with that.
Mhm.
It's like I'm a doctor girlfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hello there.
Mono.
I'm Dr.
He'll
Mrs.
say the
Mono.
name with the later seasons.
Speaking, we were talking about Johnny Quest earlier. That's that's like the Venture Brothers are the extension of Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, the Venture Brothers is one of my favorite of all time.
Back when
for
Comedy
sure, man.
Central had some balls still.
Yeah,
we,
did.
I had an old friend of mine, and you've probably heard me do a few impressions tonight and stuff like that. But that was funny because me and him both but the problem was we wanted to do the Venture Brothers, but neither one of us could do Dean, right? Because Dean's too high pitched.
Yeah, he's way high pitched.
So we just both did Hank. So it was just Hanks talking to each other. So he's like. So we'd be like, we do the whole skit. It's like, well, Hank, what do you think? Well, I'm going to tell you this, Hank.
That's not like a bit they would do in the show. It's have Hank playing off himself.
Yeah, like we do the whole what was that one episode where he says I'm becoming a man because he was taking down all his posters, and he says, oh no, he said, Hank, you're taking down your Mary Lou Retton poster. He's like, you don't understand this, Dean, but I'm becoming a man. You're too young to understand. He's like, I'm 2 years. I'm literally 20 seconds younger than you. We're only 20 seconds. Maybe you understand.
I'm like 20 seconds older than you.
Yeah, but the whole maybe in 20 seconds you'll understand. Or remember when he thought he was going to blow up? He's like, "Hooray! I'm not going to explode anymore." He's really happy about that. I think I would be too.
That show is a great show. I need to buy that. I keep forgetting to.
The problem is the seasons are so spread out. You kind of you forget about it for a while. It's like, oh, it'll still exist.
Yeah. Like what? How many years since the last season show? Oh, no.
Yeah, they just did the recent season this past month.
Yeah.
And it was between that and that was 4 years or something like that. It's like Jesus.
I haven't seen how it turned out. Did it turn out right?
It was good. It was
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. It was on par with the rest of the show.
Yeah.
As far as my viewing, the couple episodes I caught, because being a single dad, it's hard to watch anything. Let's put it. Dr. Venture and the Monarch got a very big surprise at the end of the season.
Well,
yeah.
Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
it's one of those ones that you just want to own it rather than try and just watch it.
Yeah.
At this point, you might as well just wait until you can go buy the DVD sets.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I've ever paid Comedy Central for is South Park. I've got all their seasons that they have come out. I'm a huge South Park fan.
I never was really into South Park, but there's parts that I can appreciate. I love when they did the principal, the new principal. I forgot what's called. Yeah.
PC Principal.
PC when they did PC Principal, I was like, all right, this is brilliant.
I think it might be the reason it speaks to me is it's very an aesthetic, a Western aesthetic.
Yeah.
And they're from in my neck of the woods here out there, and it's just they're in Colorado, but I'm in Utah, and it's basically the Rockies are all over that area.
Yeah.
And so they're thinking there, and they reference Mormons a lot, and that's where I grew up. And so when they make fun of stuff, I love it because it's very much how people around here make fun of things. So yeah,
there's just a microaggression.
Yeah, seriously, like things like when they have like the first annual whore off, and if just somebody goes whore off, that sort of shit. I mean, like, and then it's like Mr. Slave and freaking Paris Hilton like having a whore off. That sort of shit freaking kills me. And then you have brave her Paris Hilton going up the gay man's ass at the very end, with where her Lemmy Winks went. That's just one episode out of like hundreds now. That's right. That's
I forgot the song.
Sir, I don't know if you went too far or not too far enough.
Well, I mean, it's the whole show started off with that sort of kind of humor. It's like there's like an alien probe in Cartman's ass that has this huge like monster dish that comes out of his ass. I mean, that sort of shit. That's how it started, and it's never stopped. And they've never the only time they ever pulled back was when they had the Muhammad thing, where it was actually the studio. It was a channel that said no, the network wouldn't do that, and they were willing to do all kinds of things, and they put
Super
the
Best
kibosh
Friend
on it. And so I'm hoping sometime in the future they will release the uncut version of that. And then I'll be able to get it, So
yeah.
where they what they wanted to do, and they did the whole episode. They changed the whole episode and put Muhammad in like a bear suit, so that he was in like a bear. And had a bunch of jokes about bears and Muhammad. I was just like, fucking crazy guys. But the stupid thing is they had the Super Special Friends episode where they actually had Muhammad in there with like Joseph Smith and Moses and Jesus and Buddha. And like nobody said shit about that back then. It just, as time moved on, like the Muslims got more pissed off and started throwing bombs and like, oh shit, we can't have him in there again. God damn it.
Yeah, but then of course, when you want to make fun of Scientology, Isaac Hayes is like, nah, I'm out. I'm like, oh.
Oh well, no, they did make fun of Scientology, but then they like didn't put any names in there, so the Scientologists, they're really litigious. They sue everybody, so they just put like John Doe, all the credits at the very end.
Yeah.
That episode's great too, like in the closet, and then they have the guys like when he says, "This is what they actually believe." Like there's a caption down on the bottom, and it is what they actually believe, and it's more what they actually believe is more silly than anything that could ever come up on South Park. They're like, what the fuck are they talking about? What is going on? That's what they believe. I swear the Scientology is like L. Ron Hubbard's bar bet saying, "I can be Joseph Smith. I can do that. I can make my own religion and make people follow me." And he did.
Yep. He's fooled a lot of people. He fooled a lot of people with his
well, he spent like the last few years of his life on a fucking boat because he wanted to have his like freedom out, like in international waters and no income tax and all of that shit. So he lived on a boat like floating around in the ocean till he died.
This story's even good.
I mean, I literally think when he was writing, when he was writing all the Scientology stuff, what was it? That was it Dianetics or whatever it was?
Dianetics, yeah.
Dianetics, yeah. I literally think he said like he's going through this and he's writing it down. He's like, "You think anybody will fall for this?" Yeah.
Well, what he did is he took like I read the book because I was interested. They had like for like 5 years they had these commercials like buy Dianetics.
I remember those. I remember those commercials.
Yep, I remember those too. Yep.
Dianetics.
So I went and got one out of the library. I wasn't gonna fucking pay for it, and I went and I read it. It took me about 2 days. It's a pretty thick book. And because I had read like Battlefield Earth, which is okay. But it was like this huge, like 11, like 10, it's like 1,011 pages. It's big monsters tomb to get to one place in tome, excuse me. So I read Dianetics, and it's basically like he gleaned a bunch of like axioms and like platitudes and stuff, and just kind of put them all together and like pieced them together. Like he's this brilliant guy, but if you know where you're drawing from, if you've ever read like a philosophy and any of the religions, he's just grabbing stuff and putting it in there. And then what he tells his followers is that he's channeling these spirits that came through all these other people, and that's what this is the true message that they were telling. but then he doesn't tell anybody what they actually believe. And so as they go up in their thetans and whatever, and they move up in their levels and they pay more money, which they do, you have to pay money to move up in levels, then they tell them this other shit that you get in South Park. And that's what they believe in those upper echelons. Like, there was some alien overlord like 10,000 million years ago or whatever,
like Xenu or something like that.
it's
Xenu.
Xenu. It's the name of the dude,
Fucking Xenu.
And
then,
like described as like a giant space walrus, if I remember correctly.
yeah, like this, you're just like, what the fuck is he talking? Like, seriously. and as you get done with it, you're just like, really? Okay, a virgin birth is kind of goofy, and I can see how people from the outside will go, yeah, she just got knocked up and told the story, and then a religion grew out of it. But this, how are people falling for this? I mean, as crazy as like the stuff from the Hindus are, their multiplicity of religions. This is obviously just made up shit on the fly.
It reminded me of something that Joe Rogan said about the difference between religion and a cult. Yeah.
Sure, I've never heard that.
No, Joe Rogan said with the cult, the founder isn't dead yet.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
And there's like two ways they go out. Either they die of old age very wealthy, or they get you all to commit suicide. Yeah. You can go with him, kind of thing.
Muhammad got he got poisoned by a Jewess, and that's why the Muslims hate the Jews, because a Jewish poisoned Muhammad with a leg of lamb or something. And there's a whole story around that that's pretty ridiculous. It is. Go look it up. It's like this ridiculous series of events, and then like he hangs on like for like 2-3 weeks or a month where he dies. But like, go listen. There's that guy who does. He's a Christian dude, but he like deconstructs Islam, and he tells this story, and it is the funniest thing in the world. Sadly, that this has caused so much havoc, but it is very funny that this prophet couldn't foresee his own death.
Yeah.
Well, he had like he also did. I think I was reading somewhere where he claimed he had to try to discredit Christianity. That he claimed he had met Jesus in a cave.
Yeah, there's several other things when it comes down to, and the thing about Islam is if you live like the first part of it, like the Meccan verses of sutras or whatever they call them, you can have a fairly peaceful life. It's just the stuff when he left Mecca and went to Medina, and then he became a warlord essentially, and then he went back to Mecca.
Yeah, it's the bit that when he incidentally gained power, then all of a sudden all hell broke loose.
Yeah, it's when he started raiding caravans and justifying stealing stuff and justifying killing and massacring. He massacred like a village of Jews, and he killed all the men and then took all the women. And one of the men that he killed was the husband or father of the lady that eventually fed him the leg of lamb. But then he goes back to Mecca and basically says, anybody who made fun of me, and like these poets, they call them poets, you either join Islam or we kill you. And he killed several of them. And then he enslaved anybody who didn't believe in him. And then any woman who didn't embrace Islam, they could make a slave of his right hand, which basically is a sex slave. I mean, and then there's a whole pedophilia thing with Aisha being 6 when he married her and 9 when he consummated. There's a whole bunch of things where you're just like, what are we talking about here?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You reminded me of something when you said Aisha. Have any of you ever seen clips from Memory TV?
I have not.
It is, oh God, it's so hilarious because it is literal translations of Muslim, TV. It is, as I should say, Arab TV.
I think I've seen what you're talking about.
And there's this one guy he was an Iraqi and he had a cooking show, right? And so he's like, he said, he goes, hello, caller. And they said, my name is Mahmoud. And he's like, hello, Mahmoud. And this is all in, that language. He said, yes, when you use milk, is it the breast milk of Aisha or is it just any milk? And the guy goes, by Allah, you people are dogs. I will go on like normal.
Well, I've watched. There's another thing where you can watch like a compilations of Islamic television,
Yeah.
where the Islamic television literally descends into brawls, and this happens on a regular basis. Like people getting fights in these Islamic television shows, and they broadcast them where they're like wailing on each other and screaming invective at each other.
I mean, I have a whole folder of
Memory is like a gold mine of comedy, man.
Oh yeah,
And they really like throwing their shoe at people.
yeah.
They really like.
I will show you the bottom of my shoe because that's an insult.
Yes.
Like here's one. Yeah, I'm looking at my folder right now. This guy is talking to this woman. The woman is a reporter, and he goes, "First of all, the only thing Albania deserves is a nuclear holocaust. Second of all," and it stops.
Oh my goodness!
And
We're gonna get destroyed by YouTube if they catch us talking.
Yeah.
My channel's getting taken. I have 71 subscribers, and I'm already getting copyright or getting freaking stricken.
Guys, I think it's better we stop here and we continue this conversation.
Probably a good idea. Yeah.
But I can't do that without saying shout outs to Darius is here. He's in the chat. He says he can't believe he's catching us all.
Oh, Darius is got here. Oh man. Hey man. Hey Darius.
He's like, "Hey, how you doing? See you later."
He probably just woke up and he was like, I got a notification from your friendly neighborhood ninja. What the fuck is this? 5 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck is this motherfucker doing awake?
Oh god.
Dang, man, don't you ever sleep?
Hey man.
No.
Hey, Darius. Oh my god. Darius, you just time to say goodbye.
I guess so. But yeah, I guess that's about it for tonight. Anybody want to plug any products or things that they're working on? Let's see here. Mior, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I have a webcomic, and it's updated monthly. I'll share the link in the chat. There you go. Yeah, and that's it, I think.
Right on.
Neo, you are up, brother.
Neo,
you there? You have anything you want to plug? Revengers or anything like that? You want to plug anything? Any place we can follow you or whatnot?
Well, no more than you. Well, no more than usual. I do have a YouTube channel as well as under Neostar Productions, even though I really don't have much in the ways of content hands on there. Yeah. And I'm also on Twitter under FlashShadow17. Hey, check it out when you get a chance.
super
Nice.
fly.
And that's about it.
Nice. Optimus, you want to go ahead?
Okay.
Plug us everything that you're a part of right now.
Okay. Well, the biggest thing, like I said, I'm part of is getting ready to relaunch Graded Point 5, and that is spelled out graded, the word point and the word 5 on YouTube because apparently we couldn't find it earlier. All right. Give it a check out. There's going to be a big push on live streams coming soon because we're going to do a big focus on community, on getting these creators promoted, getting them out in the open. Because as I said earlier, Marvel and DC are dead to us. They're not catering to the customer anymore. So who needs them? It's time to worry about our own information, our own stuff now, and let's get these people out there. So please check me out on that. Check me out on Twitter at Optimus Deadpool. Might be changing. That at might be changing soon. Get signed up while you can. I will probably follow you back if you do so. So yeah, at Optimus Deadpool. It'll be Chief Justice Optimus. It'll have the same icon that you see here in the screen here, and not hard to find. I'm one of a kind.
And one of my reoccurring guests, Slick Jimmy Love, would you mind plugging our wonderful girl and anything else that you want to plug?
Okay, man. My name is Slick Jimmy. I go on Twitter by Slick Jimmy Love, as Ninja previously mentioned, and Slick Jimmy Speaks on the YouTubes. I have a book right now on Indiegogo called Little Girl Lethal, and it's about a girl named Sugar Light Speed. She is a very beautiful, very damaged young lady. This is not a book for children, so if you're out there and you're a child, do not go on Indiegogo and buy my book. Wait till you're 18. This is about a great megalopolis city and the corruption that takes place there that has caused the damage to the young lady and her quest for vengeance against a ring of pedophiles that had enslaved her when she was in her youth. And in so doing, she destabilizes the whole system of the city, its government, its upper elite echelons, and causes quite a bit of havoc in doing so. Each episode will be a standalone comic book that will interlock into arcs. There'll be 3 arcs for the saga and about 300 some odd pages altogether when I get done. This book is 30 pages with some extra end pages of great art that I've collected and the main art will be done by Whiskey Paint, an awesome artist out of Vladivostok, Russia. It's amazing art, and if you buy it, you'll see what I mean. So thanks for listening to my bullshit.
We are more than happy to listen to it. You are one of my, actually, I have to say, one of my respected elders. As far as, well, when I say elder, I mean as far as the Mormon Church respect kind of elder thing goes. Like,
well,
because you get the reference.
I'm not a really good one.
It's all good, my brother.
I'm a big Jack Mormon. I don't smoke or drink or any of the other stuff, but I definitely the leadership of the church probably wouldn't be happy with me putting this book out here, but they can go hang.
That's all good, my man. And I am your friendly neighborhood ninja. You can follow me on Twitter and whatnot. We got some amazing products. Go check out Sporkman at getthespork.com and also Indie Planet, where you can find your copy of Conventions. And hashtag Revengers Forever. We will be making comics great again at some point here.
Yeah, good shout out for Sporkman. They didn't make their funding for this, but man, go out and find conventions so that they can make an attempt to get Sporkman Goes to Japan made and colored. They're going to go at it again, and for those of you out there listening, please look for them. They're good all ages book that can be shared with the whole family and enjoyed. So yeah. Also, I got to give a shout out to my man Cody Fernandez with Jack Irons, Steel Cowboy. Go out and get his stuff. He did get funded. He's an awesome book. Wanpool. There's another one in Rags. Those are my boys.
Heck yeah!
Out there, all right.
Yeah.
So
thanks for
shout out to them.
Thanks for giving shout outs to them. I should have done that. Actually, I feel some sort of way now. But yeah, much love to everybody, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
All right. See you later, guys.
Peace.
Later days, y'all.